This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. It is time to have a little fun here on the show. Good morning. It's a hump day. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody is rocking out there. We are going to get in tonight, but we're going to get into Brian Flores. He is going to have his press conference any second now. We are keeping abreast of the situation. So once Brian Flores starts, we will get into it with Brian Flores. We'll hear his comments. They made some transactions yesterday. Yes, I want to talk about the Heat. I got a lot of things I want to say about the Heat game last night, and a couple of other things that I want to get into with the Miami Heat. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. We got a bunch of guests, too. We're going to have Christopher Price at noon from the Boston Globe. So we'll talk a little bit about the Patriots and their latest cheating scandal, right? That's kind of the way we got to do it, right? Their latest cheating scandal, because they've had so many, that kind of stuff. Andy Behrens, of course, fantasy basketball is today. We do it every Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, Michelle Kaufman with her Inter-Miami football report. So we will talk a little soccer. In fact, she had an article yesterday talking about the 18 players that are a part of the team. And so we'll get into that. Also, we are awaiting Brian Flores. He should be addressing the media any time now. It's scheduled for 11:10. He's usually a little early. So you just never know when he's going to take it because he's
military maniac.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. That's good.
If you're 5 minutes, if you're on time, you're 5 minutes late.
Yeah. No, exactly. And let me tell you, it's we got a lot of things today to talk about. I mean, there's so much going on. The Yankees made an enormous signing. We got Jerry Jones with another crazy soundbite. We got some other stuff coming out of New England that's kind of questionable. The Panthers disappointing last night against the Lightning. We've got Dolphins talk to get into. Obviously, we'll do our chance to rip into Trae Young and have a little fun at his expense. Le'Veon Bell. I didn't even get into Le'Veon Bell yesterday. I'm kind of glad because we got sweeter sound bites today for it, so it was actually even better to kind of get into. I mean, there's so many things that I want to talk about today on the program, and I'm still waiting on one more guest that we're trying to get on the show. So looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll have a little fun with one more guest here coming up on the program, which is a beautiful thing. And listen, last night was a lot of fun with the Miami Heat. That was one of those where you just kind of sat back and it's, I think, was another moment that kind of shows you that you may have a special team here. Again, not championship, but special as in damn good, okay? Because those Zoe and Timmy teams did not win a title, but they're special in my book. They were awesome. They won in the 50s and 60s. They got to the conference championship game and all that. So it's just
one guy to blame.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Simple.
Knicks, Jazz, Cavs, Heat. All those teams were in the same bunch because stinking Michael, kind of blocked everybody. He was C blocking.
MJ, you bastard.
MJ was C blocking everybody during that time, and it was making it difficult on all those. But those were special teams, and this is one of those. I think I'm getting to that point. I mean, there's so many layers to get into the Miami Heat, but I don't want to do it now because we got the press conference, and I don't want to get into this and then I got to get cut short in midstream, and there's a lot of really juicy topics because there are more layers to it than just basically the win last night. And that's what I want to point out because It's stuff that is probably on the surface, but really underneath. And people aren't really looking at it or talking about it, but I do. I want to talk about it because I think it's super interesting, and the timing is amazing too for it. So we got that to talk about on the program. What else do we have here on the show? Because I always have a ton of things. Oh yeah, there was something that happened this week also in the NFL. I'm a little pissed about that. I also want to get into. Yeah, there's a specific thing that I want to get into that I thought was completely unfair, and that's another thing that I want to share with you guys. But again, all this stuff it requires me to really delve into it, and it's going to require me to But let's go to the coach because he's talking right now in Davie and addressing the media. Let's go to Brian Flores.
We brought in Lyndon Stevens and Nate Brooks, and obviously we have Eric who's played corner in the past, so we'll have 11 out there, that's for sure.
Flo, you've had a lot of lineup changes, whether it's guys being inactive or demoted. When you tell these guys that, do they take it and understand, or is there some back and forth? Do guys, say, why is this happening?
I think it's case by case. Every situation is a little different. Look, we got a team of competitive guys in there, so when we tell a guy he's going to be down, there's some disappointment, which I expect that, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's never an easy thing to hear that when you practice hard and you prepare and you're ready to go. And but look, we got to put 7 guys down each week, and that's just part of playing in the National Football League. So those are tough decisions for us as a staff. Myself, Chris, our coaching staff. We talk about it really on a daily basis. What's the best group of players we can put out there offensively, defensively in the kicking game. And it all counts. So if you don't have a role in the kicking game, and you don't have a big enough role offensively or defensively, then it's hard to have guys at the game, or that particular player at the game, I would say. Look, if you're a major contributor and you make plays every week, you're going to be out there. So it's case by case and week by week. We spend a lot of time on it, but every week we're trying to put the best group out there to help us win the game.
Measuring best group out there to help us win the game versus continuity, how tough a distinction is that?
I mean, it's all of those things play into it, and that's a great question. And continuity, that obviously helps as far as putting the best group out there. So they go kind of, I don't want to say hand in hand, but each week it's a little bit different, and it's really dependent on your opponent. What grouping, the different groups from week to week that we're going to, put out there. Injuries play a part in this, and, the amount of communication we may have in the game plan may play a part in it. So, the definition of continuity, your definition, my definition, our coaches, definitions, people's definition, players of continuity, they could be very different. Communicate continuity from a communication standpoint, continuity from a just overall, speed, athleticism standpoint. And let's say, for instance, it's a third down situation and we need to get speed on the field. Your definition of continuity from that standpoint and my definition of continuity from that standpoint may be a little bit different. But it's speed, and it's communication, it's tackling. I mean, we could go on and on for hours talking about different groupings, different sets of people, different sets of communicators, offensively, defensively, in a kicking game. Continuity, it's a term a lot of people use, but in this game with the different groupings, nickel to dime to 11 personnel to 12 personnel to goal line groupings to kickoff return to hands team to to injuries, and then you gotta get a backup in there. Continuity is, you got to be able to adjust in this league, I would say.
And have you found that this system or this process is keeping players motivated in a positive way, or does it maybe put them on edge in a negative way?
I think competition is always, I think it's very positive. I think, we've got a group of guys in there who understand that, every day counts. Every practice, every meeting, every walkthrough. There's competition in every area of the building, specifically with the players, but, coaches, personnel, who's making, which lunch is better, Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, it's kind of how, we want the building. And it's a good thing. And, I think we're trying to build a group of competitive guys who understand that they got to work and there's a process. And if they continue with that and they work hard and they prepare the right way, then good things will happen for them.
Seems like there's more specialization, I guess, in this area where you may have a player that only plays 30-40% and you want that because that's his role. Have you seen the way you coach differ based on, maybe a speedy running back? You have to match him up with a linebacker that specializes in that, skill set.
I think every team's dealing with that. There's different, strengths and weaknesses to every team. Players that cause, specific issues where if you leave a certain group or a certain player out there, you're basically asking for trouble. You want to kind of keep yourself out of those situations. Let's call it defensively or in the kicking game. Offensively, you want to try to create those situations. So, again, we go back to continuity. We could keep the same guys out there on every snap, and then, you may not have the best matchup. So, there is some specialization, obviously, in this league. Some instances you can just leave a group out there, and the flip side of that is the players should, in a lot of cases, really know where the weaknesses are, and they defend them. They understand them, they defend them, and I think the smart, the good players in this league, they understand that not every situation is going to be perfect. We can't get the best matchup every time. They go no huddle, they get a guy in there, and you got a bad matchup. We got to hold on for a play, for a snap, and that's where you get your help. There's 10 other guys on the field to help you. So if I'm matched up on a speedy running back, and hopefully my post safety sees it and just leans over there a little bit. That's just one instance, but they show up on a really play-to-play basis.
Yourself, I guess, drafting or bringing in players that may have a specific role in mind, like that's the only thing you want them to do?
We're going to bring in good players, and we'll figure it out. I would say we find the strengths and weaknesses in each player, but if it's speed, if it's strength, if it's run stuffing ability, if it's pass rush ability, if it's blocking, we get an opportunity to get a good player, and that's, I think, my vision, and I know it's the same vision Chris has, is just getting as many good players as possible.
I'd ask you about Talib. Any conversations I know you've had with him you want to keep private, but I was just curious if you've gotten a sense about if he wants to and thinks he can continue to play next year, and if this might be a possible place for him.
Again, like you said it, those conversations are between myself and Keeb. There have been some conversations, but we're going to keep them between us. I think that's just, common courtesy of, conversation I have with somebody that's a private conversation. I'm not going to talk about it with, anyone.
Is he a player that you might want to have around here for a few years?
Keeb's been a great player in this league for a long time. He's played a lot of good football, so he's definitely a guy who would be in the conversation. But again, those between myself, Brandon, Chris, our coaching staff, those will always stay internal.
Brian, I know obviously your main focus has to be wins and losses over individual achievements, but Jason Sanders was not named Special Teams Player of the Week for the AFC. What do you think about that? Do you find that odd?
No, I didn't know that. It's not, and again, my focus is on the Giants right now, and they've got plenty of guys to worry about, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. I think Jason, had a great week last week. And sometimes, I don't know who won it, but I'm sure that player had a great week and was deserving as well. So I don't know exactly who that was or what that player did. But he must have done something because Jason had a good week as well. So, but whoever it was, I'm sure is very deserving. Jason's done a good job. I'm sure he's not, up in arms over it. I mean, he's kind of locked in on what our next opponent, which again the Giants are a good opponent. I mean, this is a talented bunch. They play hard, and they from Barkley to Slayton to Golden Tate to we got Eli in there. He played well the other day. DeMarcus Lawrence. Lawrence. They got guys everywhere, so they do a good job, and we got a tough test ahead of us. So I think the individual awards, when they're deserving, it's great. It's a great accomplishment. I know Jason's gotten a couple of those this year. But I think we're focused on the Giants.
Have you had any contact with the league this week about the DPI, and were you satisfied with the answer you got?
No. I have not had any contact with the league. Sorry. I know it's going to get taken the wrong way. I have not had any contact with the league. I've moved on. Sit and talk about last week. But that's, again, I just spent 2 seconds talking about that, 5 seconds now, 10 seconds now, and less time on the Giants. So.
Brian, do you enter this week knowing who your starting guards will be? Do you want to see how they practice this week?
Yeah, we know who they're going to be. But we'll, see how it goes in practice, and they play well, we'll be out there. If they don't, we'll reassess and make the best decision for the team.
Can you say if it's in Sunday with Evan and Sutherland, or do you not want to say it?
I could say it, but I'm not going to. He's had a lot of success in this league. Gets the ball out quickly, still throws a very good ball, very accurate. I would say he's got very good command of their offense. He can get them in and out of good plays. He knows where he wants to go with the football. He knows where his playmakers are. He knows that he's got a few of them, whether it's Slayton or Barkley or I think Evan Ingram's going to be back this week, so that's another problem. He'll find a way to get them the football. So and Jones did the same thing. That's another good young quarterback who's made some progress over the course of the year, and I know he's dealing with an ankle. We may get him, we may not. We'll see. We'll be prepared for both of them.
You made a comment on Monday that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to ask if you could expand upon it. Mm-hmm. It was when you said, "I'm all about serving those players." I thought that was an interesting comment. Can you tell me more about that?
I think that's what coaching is. It's about service. We got to. I want to help those guys, become better football players, better, citizens to the world. So I feel like I've got to try to be an example of that. And our coaching staff I think tries to do the same thing. So that's what this is. That's what coaching is, in my opinion. We're teachers, we're educators, and we're here to serve other players. Now, that doesn't mean it's all rosy. We've got to be demanding, and it's good for them, I think. And I think if that hopefully that helps them become better versions of themselves on and off the field. So maybe I'm on a soapbox, but that's kind of my thought process.
Ron, you met a lot of fans before the game in New York, and I don't know if it was the New York City Dolphin Club, but why was that important to you? Why did you do that?
We think we got a lot of Dolphin fans, and to say hello, to shake a hand, to sign a hat or a shoe. I think that's a nice gesture, and to go down to that, go up to that environment, and support our team. I think that's incredible, and I just wanted to show my appreciation.
Was that your idea, or were you guided to them?
Yeah, it was it's a genuine gesture. I'm I'm not being told to do that.
I didn't mean to disingenuous.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
That is actually really cool. Igor, you got some mention there, baby. You got some love. I love it. That is great. Dolphins NYC getting a little love there at the end. Chris Perkins from The Athletic asking that one to flow because he was hanging out with the MetLife Takeover folks. And obviously it meant something to him to connect with the fans. And come on, man. I mean, the MetLife Takeover is it's already at a legendary status, right? I mean, that's really, when we talk about the MetLife Takeover, it has become something synonymous. It is traditional. It is, I think it's become bucket list. Seriously. There's a lot of Dolphins that are, I saw it even on Twitter over the weekend. And I saw people that were, for the first time ever, hanging out in New York and either at Slattery's or at the game and part of the MetLife Takeover and everything that goes on and the pre-game stuff. And they were tweeting out and posting on Facebook how happy they were that they made it to the game, but they also made it to the event that Igor and company put together every single year for the Dolphin Nation. And look how it's grown. And it hasn't it hasn't been the kind of numbers that they had the last couple of years, because obviously it's a down year this year, so less fans probably traveled. But in the next couple of years, it's going to pick up, and they're going to have record numbers. I know we're going to be there next year, guaranteed. We are going to do our best to broadcast from Slattery's on Saturday and on Sunday, and then go in there and enjoy the game with everybody else.
So the idea of trying to broadcast in the middle of the tailgate, forget that. We'll do it at the bar.
No. We'll do both.
You're going to try to do both
Yeah,
that
the
day?
bar is Saturday.
Okay, right. And you said Sunday.
The game is Sunday. We can
Of
broadcast.
course.
We could do the Sunday tailgate show, and then Saturday at Slattery's, we got to do a little something at Slattery's.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
So, and I'm sure they'll allow us to do that there, and then we'll have the audio and video, because this is what we like to do, and make this thing grow. You know what I mean? That's because we want to become, the centralized show for Dolphin Nation. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I think it's imperative for us to be in Vegas next year. It's imperative for us to be at the MetLife Takeover. All of those things are going to be important, because that's what this show is all about, dude. You know what I mean? It's about a lot of the local teams. Hey, we're going to talk about all the national stories. We'll talk, a little Yankees today. We'll talk a little Adam Gase and the mess with Le'Veon
Don't forget
Bell.
about Jerry.
The Patriots, all that stuff. But always we're going to centralize around the Dolphins and the Heat and the Canes and all that stuff. I mean, that's what we're going to do always. And so the South Florida sports fan is going to know that this is the show that they can tune in to actually get an honest opinion on everything that's going on. No politics, because we're not stuck with, the lame ass.
Hey, why are you talking bad about them?
The lame ass company that has the teams now. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty funny too. But hey, I'm glad they've painted themselves into that corner. I'm glad that they've eliminated sports talk and there's less shows and all of that, because it gives us you guys are finding out that this is the better option anyway. In the end, you're going to have this, and you're going to have less commercials, and you get to hear about everything else that's going on, but without the drama, the politics, and those long-ass commercial breaks where you got to wait about 27 minutes or 30 minutes in an hour and do nothing. So that's the good thing, and I love how he talked about that. And let me tell you something. It was Hal. Hal brought it up from the Palm Beach Post that Jason Sanders did not win Special Teams Player of the Week. And let me tell you something. I'm pissed about that. I am, because the guy that won it didn't deserve it. And that's my problem with all of this, that if you're going to hand a special teams award to somebody, please have them actually make a contribution, a majority of their contribution on special teams, because that's what it's all about. And this week, instead of giving Jason Sanders, who hit 7 freaking field goals, probably should have hit 8 if it wasn't for the holder actually, screwing it up and not giving him an opportunity to hold it, to kick the 8th field goal, then he would have gone 8 for 8. In my book, he's 7 for 7. I don't even take the one he missed away from Sanders because it wasn't his fault. The holder unfortunately didn't do his job, and I'm sure the holder is more pissed than anybody else about it. I'm sure he's kind of, probably feeling more guilty about it all, because he knows that if he ends up hitting that 8th field goal, he ends up getting probably the award. So Deontay Johnson ends up getting the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award. Now, he had a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, okay? 83-yard punt return for a touchdown. But he also caught 6 passes for 60 yards and a touchdown. Now, what do the 6 passes for 60 yards and a touchdown have to do with special teams? If you're going to win an Offensive Player of the Week award, we're not going to give you credit for hitting a field goal or a punt or whatever, or a return. It's because you played offense, not special teams. And we're going to give you the Defensive Player Award because you played defense, not because you ran the ball back for a touchdown, just because you're a returner. That doesn't make any sense. The NFL, their officiating is just god-awful as it is every single week now. They're inconsistent. They're screwing teams over on a weekly basis. It's an embarrassment nationally. Hell, and the coach was asked about the interference call. He's like, well, I haven't had any contact, and I've moved on. I'm thinking Giants. And I don't blame him, because he has you gain nothing dwelling on stuff that you can't control. But this part here, here's where the NFL just, they're inconsistent about everything. How are you going to give this guy an award when he did not do everything on special teams? It just makes no sense to me. And here's a kicker doing something freakish. 7 field goals in a game, it is freakish, man. And if you watch the game, you have to also say, that guy was 7 of 7, too. It wasn't like he was 7 of 10, 7 of 9, that you missed the 8th field goal that he missed had nothing to do with him. So you have to also look at that and say, that guy single-handedly almost won the game. How do you not give him the award? Oh, he's won a couple already this year. That's why. Okay? That's probably it. All right, he won a couple already. Why are we going to give him another one? Well, maybe because he deserves it. That's all. Why not? I mean, what a shocker. Let's give someone something they actually deserve. No, let's just award somebody else out of convenience, and they don't deserve it, but let's take it away from the person that actually deserves it. It's crazy, man. I saw they asked about Talib and whatever. It is what it is. I think Talib will want to win and finish out his career with a winner. The only way I can see Talib coming back is if he takes like a contract-friendly type deal, and he's willing to be kind of a mentor to teach kids how to play the game. Not how to act, by the way, because Aqib Talib isn't necessarily a character guy, if you know what I mean. All you got to do is go look at the history, and you'll see plenty of it. But I think they're going to go in the youth direction like they have. So to me, the Talib part of the of the press conference, I don't really hold out a lot of hope, to be honest with you. And
Gotta think the way these streets free agents that basically is our whole secondary, the way they performed,
piled them up.
That
well,
plus you
not
add X
really.
and McCain back,
and Eric Rowe.
Right.
Those are 3 veterans that are going to take up more than half your secondary now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
coupled with the guys that are playing.
Because Rowe will be one of the safeties for sure because he does a great job of covering tight ends. So they found, like, the guy that can help him out in that area. McCain, I think they'll move him back to slot is what they'll do next year. Because next year they'll get the safety they need in the draft.
Perfect.
Right. And then obviously X is X. Oh, and then the other kid, Needham.
Yes.
Dude, Needham is going to be...
He's got to be in the mix.
Yeah, he's going to be in the mix. Either
be it nickel, dime.
Right, competing with Bobby for a slot or become the dime. It's what you just hit on it right there.
Yep.
I don't think he'll be the other boundary guy. I think they'll draft that other guy.
I think that exposes him his weakness.
And let me tell you, if I'm Cordrea Tankersley, I'm like, oh, man. Damn, dude. I've had these injuries. I can't find consistency. Next year will be his last year coming back. The 3rd-round pick in his 3rd year. But he has all kinds of competition. And they'll draft somebody. Probably 2 guys.
I was just going to say, with 14 picks, man, you got to go safety corner, right?
Right. They'll probably draft 2 guys. Because one of them will have some kind of return skill. You know what I mean?
If they're smart, yeah.
No.
And they are. And they are.
That's what they're going to do because you also have to protect yourself with Jakeem. He's not a big guy. You know what I mean? So I think that will all happen. So for Cordrea, it's like, oh, man. That kid, and he has not.
You're missing out on opportunities.
He's been a bust, unfortunately, because he can't get on the field, and when he has, he never plays well. So he's been a real disappointment overall.
You don't want Talib anyway because of his character issue, correct? If you got to call it black and white.
What? If what?
Talib, you don't want him back because of his character issue.
I really don't. I don't think a guy like that you want around young guys.
Yeah, you said that a few times.
He's had too many off the field issues for my liking. Even gun related and stuff and domestic violence and he's had so many different issues over the years that to me Aqib Talib is not the guy. I know he can play and I know he's an older guy, but he's a guy that wants to close out probably with a veteran team. This is a team headed in a completely other direction. It's just not worth it. I don't think so.
It wouldn't make him happy, and the lack of character, dude, it's no bonus for him.
Dude, if they bring him back, it's because they failed in so many areas to fill needs or something. That's what I think.
I don't see that happening.
And I'm right. I don't see that happening either.
Yep.
You know? Because let me tell you something. I love what they're doing, how they're pilfering everybody's practice squads and their whatever guys they got left that they want to try to steal. Hey, Kendrick Nunn, that's why the Heat have Kendrick Nunn, because they stole him on the last day of the regular season off of Golden State's roster.
That's a perfect example.
You know, that's why you have him. And that's why you have Nick Needham, right? Because you went out and scoured all kinds of, and the Nick Needham kid looked terrible early on, but he has grown, and you're like, now he has grown to the point that you like him now. You know?
I was going to say, I'm really glad we didn't cut him like the 2nd or 3rd preseason game like we wanted him to.
Hell, I wanted to cut him the second I saw him. And, wow, that is just amazing, dude. Really is. Kind of like calling Choice Mortgage Bank and Michael Codsey at 561-441-2730. Folks, state rates right now, we can get you under 3.5%. What are you waiting for? Call Michael Codsey right now, 561-441-2730. I promise you, nobody's going to work harder. You're going to love Michael. I've known him for a long time now, known his family. Great people, great South Florida guy, supporting our program for a long, long time. Don't allow the mortgage companies to give you the runaround and BS you. Call Michael Codsey right now, 561-441-2730. We can get you into that fixed mortgage rate under 3.5%. Call Choice Mortgage Bank.
This
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $899 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. All righty, we are turning the page. We'll get back to a little Dolphins talk in a few minutes. I got some other stuff I want to talk about Dolphins-wise. But I will say this. Last night was just awesome. It was great to watch the Heat. As frustrating as I am right now about the Panthers, it is the polar opposite for the Miami Heat. And before I get into how great the victory was and everything that happened inside of it, the dynamics that are developing in South Florida for the sports landscape. And for us as fans, I think things are getting way better, right? Because we've gone through this window that it's been really, really tough for us. Dolphins have been terrible for a long time. Panthers have been terrible. The Heat was down because they were stuck with all those bad salaries. The Marlins are the Marlins. Now, 2020, think about it. The Heat now is looking like a really good team. The Panthers, they have it, but they still haven't gotten over that hump. I mean, they're barely in the playoffs right now as it is. And they're underachieving. But 2020, you got the draft for the Dolphins and 14 players plus more coming next year. It's an exciting time for football, pro football. You got Inter Miami coming. It's going to be awesome to get the soccer team, and they're going to be good right away. Now, they're not going to be typical expansion terrible. They will be competitive. I don't know about championship or anything right away, but they're going to be good. They might even challenge for a playoff spot in their first year because these guys are going to spend. Okay, so that obviously is better, right? Now, let's look at the landscape professionally for the teams. The Heat, they were supposed to be kind of a team that, okay, you make the playoffs, you're happy to make the playoffs, and then you probably get bounced in the first round, you're out, and it's nice, you have a nice season, and Jimmy Butler, right? And now it's developed into something better than that. A lot better than that. Way better than we all really expected, let's be honest. And for the Panthers, this was a window for them to really dominate South Florida. Because the Dolphins were down. The Heat still had those bad salaries. Young guys that you didn't really know about. And you had an opportunity. If you're the Panthers right now, you got to be, because did you watch the game last night? I mean, if there were 6,000 people in that arena last night, that's a lot. I mean, it was empty for a Tampa Bay Lightning game. Now, I don't blame South Florida. I blame the Panthers, okay? The Panthers never turn the corner. They never, ever take advantage. Last night, you got Tampa in town. You got to win that game, dude. You got to win that game. And these are the moments that they constantly have failed for 20 years. And this ownership group is spending, man. They're doing their best. And they want to get over that hump. But you're never going to win the people in South Florida over. You're not going to capture their imagination if you don't win. And they don't do enough winning. And now they've loaded up the team. And those young guys have to learn to step up. Yesterday, Bob was fantastic after those 2 goals. But the offense disappeared. And you just can't have that. And for the Panthers, let me tell you something. They got to take advantage of this opportunity now. Because it's a smaller opportunity for them. But if they want to get a slice of the sports pie, they need to step up and start playing an exciting brand of hockey. And you look at the Miami Heat, they are excitement. They are capturing our imagination. The young guys are now giving us hope for the future, right? Because we didn't really know. Remember what was our conversation dating back to 2 months ago? What did I tell you? Okay, the Butler move means nothing unless you get another star. So I don't know if Riley's going to be able to trade for the star this year or next year. Then the other side of it is, what did we talk about? Winslow or Bam. One of those guys has to step up to become, if not close to an all-star, an all-star. Well, we all know now it will not be Justice Winslow. And I think what we're learning now is that Bam Adebayo is an all-star. He's playing like an all-star caliber player. Okay? This guy can give you a double-double any night. Last night, triple-double. He facilitates. He defends. He scores. He does it all. Right? The only thing he's got to add is the three-point shot, and that day, when that day comes, Jimmy Butler will owe him a lot of money. But the point is that you're watching now something that we did not expect. And we're watching something now that has become for real. I don't know, for those of you, if you've gone to probasketballtalk.com today, but if you go to probasketballtalk.com, there's a very interesting story there and headlined by our buddy Kurt Heelan from probasketballtalk.com. Do you know what the headline says? 3 things to know. Wait a minute. Where are we here? Now it disappeared on me, the damn headline. 3 things to know. Miami's young core can rival anyone's and has fueled Heat's hot start. So the league now, I'm noticing Bam, you're noticing Bam, I'm noticing Carlos Silva, you're noticing Silva, we're all noticing Nunn and Hero and Duncan Robinson. Now the league is. And that tells you what kind of an impact they're making because they're undefeated at home. They're beating quality teams. They're not fraudulent like the Raiders and the Cowboys that only beat bad teams, or even Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, that they have feasted also on easy opponents and they've been able to pile it up. No, the Heat are beating quality. And while they're doing that, they're creating a serious buzz around the league.
Got a question for you. Obviously with Bam, and we've seen incredible strides from last year to this year. Got to think that Burton is a huge contributor, the relationship they have, but maybe him with the Olympic team and going and doing that with all these all-star per se players and being sent home. And we had aspirations of maybe him. Do you think maybe that contributed in any way where he's made this jump, you know? Maybe getting sent home like, you know, I got something to show you.
It's his 3rd year, and he's got work ethic. So I think it's one of those where he wanted to do it anyway, but that had to have been a little extra motivation, like you're not good enough to be with us.
Yeah,
no, you need to.
I've been
thinking
about
yourself.
that, and yeah, when he got sent, there was a little. He was let down. You could see it.
Yeah,
you know.
Kurt Heelan says Miami's young core can rival anyone's. Sometimes it says the headline can miss the real story. That happened Tuesday night in the NBA, where the headline out of the Hawks-Heat game was Trae Young calling game, waving his arms, saying it was over, and his assist to Alex Len for a dunk put the Hawks up with 6 with less than a minute to go in the game. Remember what Miami did with 27 seconds? Apparently, Trae Young doesn't know about this franchise. It was not over. Miami had been coming back all night and did so again, capped off by Jimmy Butler's 3 that sent the game into overtime. Miami owned the overtime, went on to win 135-121. Butler took to Instagram after the game to say Trae Young is no Nostradamus. And Jimmy Butler on Instagram said, "This man, Trae Young, is a teller of the future." He was right. Game was over for them. The back and forth is entertaining, but what's missed is the real story of the night. Miami won that game because its young core bailed them out, as it has all season. Butler's been phenomenal and was in this game a triple-double, 20 points, 18 rebounds, 10 assists. But the Heat don't win it if their young core does not go off. Miami is 18-6, 3rd in the East, because their young core is better than anyone predicted. Bam Adebayo is playing near all-star level. Triple-double, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. Kendrick Nunn is in the thick of the Rookie of the Year race. Led Miami with 36 points, and there's Duncan Robinson, who drained 10 threes last night. And he goes on to talk about all of this. And this is awesome for us. And this is what we got now. And this is a nightmare for the Panthers, okay? This is another challenge for the Miami Dolphins, who have been – everybody's been the Miami Heat's bitch in this town for a long, long time. Because we all know that the Miami Heat, by miles, is the best franchise in town. It's not even close. It's not up for debate, okay? We are loaded with terrible franchises in this town. Franchises that are dying to get out of that terrible label. Because the Dolphins, the Marlins, and the Panthers are all terrible franchises. And they need to get out. And the only one that has set that example is the Miami Heat. And to be able to climb out of this funk in this fashion is absolutely awesome. And to have this young core, this becomes must-see basketball every single night now. I mean, hey, Kendrick Nunn, you got to love the moxie and the mental toughness, because the kid has been in a funk for a couple of weeks now. And he had a pretty good game the other night, and now this last night, obviously, an explosion. A great night for the young man.
1 point short of going way, way back in the time machine. Sherman Douglas.
Yeah, the little general.
Rookie. Yes, Syracuse. Him and Cycli.
I got a Sherman Douglas shirt somewhere.
Man, you're going back to the inception of the Heat.
I have
first season.
I have a Sherman Douglas shirt somewhere in my house.
I know you got a few
I have,
of those
well,
guys.
I have a poster of him in a general uniform. I just I never framed it, but I do have it. It's old, obviously, because it's a 30-year poster probably. That's a 30-year shirt, actually.
Man, that's.
I was actually wearing over the weekend. I was wearing my '97 Marlins World Series shirt. I was like, "Hey, man, I can fit in a '97 shirt. All right." It's a shirt that's 22 years old, and right now we've got something so special that is brewing here, and think about this: if somehow or another they can find a disgruntled star, how many people now are going to want to join the Miami Heat? Think about it. Now you can easily get a superstar to join the Miami Heat, not because they want to play with Butler. It's because they want to play with Butler and a whole bunch of young guys that can play ball and shoot and make their lives easy. Because right now, even Jimmy Butler doesn't believe what's going on right now. I bet you when he drives home, he's like, man, I made the right decision. Holy crap, these young guys can ball, dude. They're making my life easy. I had to try to motivate those wussies in Minnesota. Dwayne Wade and I couldn't even communicate with the damn punks in Chicago. Because that's when he's dealt with young guys, right? And, yeah, Philly was different, but he had that was already a good team, and they had a nice little run. But overall, what he has here, you didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Nobody expected Kendrick Nunn. Nobody expected Carlos Silva. Nobody expected Duncan Robinson. Tyler was a first-rounder. At least people were talking about Tyler. People were even expecting stuff out of Tyler, which is still unfair as hell for a one-and-doner first-round pick. And not even the top pick. We're talking about a guy that's taken later on in the almost middle of the first round. That's so unfair. I didn't even want to put any expectations on Tyler. You guys know it if you listen to the show. The guys I was focused on was Bam and Winslow. One of those guys had to step up. And Bam, it's not close to all-star level. It's all-star level. Because you close yourself if you just think points and rebounds. But when you start adding the assists, the steals, and the blocks, he's an all-star, bro. There aren't too many people with his kind of stat lines night in and night out. He is playing at an all-star level. The Heat drafted an all-star. The Heat have developed an all-star. And the next time he's with the national team, maybe he sticks. Although I think he still has to get that three-point shot because that's kind of the international game. That's the last thing he needs to add to his game is that three-point shot. But everything else, how can you not be just over and above, impressed with what that guy's done?
Last night, it's Nunn 1 point away from Sherman and keeping Waiters right where he is, right in the pine, okay?
Yeah.
Then it's 2 triple doubles and Bam doing what he did. And then it's, oh, no, wait a minute. Robinson set the record for most threes in the game. So it's like every time you wanted to isolate and go, this guy did something amazing. No, there's this other, these two. And this guy, bro, it's incredible. The number, and you know what? We've had Olnick have his moments. Hero have the other night, 16 of the last 18. There's always a guy stepping up.
Yeah.
And he's got a helper. It isn't just one guy doing it all by himself. There's a group. And we've had 8 different guys do it over the course of the year, man.
Yeah. It's
it really is a team.
I can't say enough about the way they've responded and the way they're playing. It really is something to watch. And we're going to talk to Christopher Price now at the top of the hour to get into a little bit of the Cheatgate, the latest cheating scandal with the Patriots. Christopher Price from the Boston Globe is going to join us. But after Christopher Price, I want to get into something with the Heat that I think it's something that most of us aren't really even thinking about it. I thought about it because it's what I do. And I think it's a great talking point and something we need to appreciate in a big-time way at some levels. To another extent, there might be, it might be a little twisted for a specific person in the organization. But I want to kind of get into that after we talk to Christopher Price. But we've got the latest cheating scandal with the Patriots and Bill Belichick. So Christopher Price, he is a friend of the program, been covering the Patriots for a long, long time, works for the Boston Globe. He will join us next. We'll have a little fun with Christopher Price next. We always have fun at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. And, folks, they got some great lease features right now. Go see Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto and Tony Stampone. Hey, the TLX 2020, $259 a month. The RDX, $329. The MDX, $369. Only $29.99 do it signing, plus tax tag and registration. Hey, you got to check out the fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles and the used cars, baby. All makes, all models to fit all kinds of budgets. Tell them that Big O sent you, and I promise you they're going to take care of you, man. Finest dealership in the business. It is. No better dealership, man. No better Acura dealership in the world than Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. We're going to start off hour number 2 here. We're going to get in contact with my man, Christopher Price. Let me see what we got here on the YouTube chat board before we get to Mr. Price. George says, good morning. A little, what's it called? A little roll call. Ian from Brooklyn. Yo, what's up, Ian? Happy hump day, gents. Looking forward to listening. Thank you, Ian. Good morning from Nico says, what are your thoughts on Bam? I think you heard that already. Inching his way to All-Star appearance. I think he's playing All-Star, man. I really do. Go Gators says hi. Ray Barreto says hi. Michael DeLuca says good morning. Thank you to all for watching and listening and posting on our YouTube chat board. And remember, you can always reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at any time, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show and Instagram, Big O Radio Show is the other way. And remember, spread the word. We crossed over the halfway mark to get to the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we are getting closer and closer and closer to that 1,000. And we appreciate all of you for subscribing and spreading the word. So we got to get to 1,000. We're at 507 right now. So that is nice. When we first talked about this, I think we had like 75 subscribers because we had just started it. So we're already up to 507, and it's growing, and we appreciate it immensely because it's going to help us give you better coverage, too, down the line as we kind of grow this whole thing here every single day. Let's see. We are waiting for Christopher Price, trying to get in contact with Mr. Price, see if we can get him on and talk a little bit about the latest Patriots cheating scandal. And there's another Patriot-like story that is tied to the Miami Dolphins that eventually I want to get into also here on the program, and we'll talk about that here on the show. But we got a bunch of other things. Andy Behrens will join us in the next hour. For those of you that have any fantasy basketball questions, send them in now. You can send them in. You can put them on the YouTube chat board or send them in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105, or on Twitter at Big O Show. Why? Because Andy Behrens joins us every Wednesday at 1 o'clock for his Yahoo Fantasy Basketball segment. At 2 o'clock, it'll be Michelle Kaufman with her Inter-Miami report. Looking forward to talking to Michelle. Inter's doing a lot of good things. We'll get some of the players on very soon, and some of the other folks too with Inter. I'm talking with them about all of that stuff. So we'll definitely have an opportunity to add that to the program. Fluff is saying people defending the Pats are saying that wouldn't steal signs from the horrible Bengals. Would this be like any criminal who starts with poor houses before they knock off mansions? Yeah, no, there's no excuses. Okay? Things are so bad with the Patriots that they have to cheat with the Bengals. That's how bad it is. Okay? If anybody's been watching the Patriots, things are not going well with the Patriots right now. And Tom Brady's future looks like it's over with the Patriots. Okay? Looks like he's leaving. Now he left. What was it? The president of the Big Brothers or whatever? Brady and the Big Brothers or something like that in Boston? That's the latest story. In Boston, let me see if I can find that story for you guys. But yeah, now that's like another thing that puts him out there. Like, okay, well, is this guy really leaving? And they're kind of freaking out over there. The whole Garoppolo thing now comes more to the forefront than ever. I'll tell you what. My boy Jarrett Stidham better be ready. There it is. Honorary co-chair of the Best Buddies. That's it. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady made a move that will raise eyebrows now and raise more questions. Here it is. Okay, after all these stamp pop-ups. Best Buddies announced that Brady will be stepping down as honorary co-chair of the local Best Buddies Challenge in Hyannis Port after serving for the role for 16 years. Brady is passing the baton to the event's current co-chairs, celebrity chef Guy Fieri and Representative Joe Kennedy. They are the two new co-chairs. Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman and forward Jason Tatum is also there. The six-time Super Bowl champion is not leaving the nonprofit organization and will serve as a global ambassador for Best Buddies International. Wow. Okay. That's another thing that he's kind of severing ties with the Boston area. Now, so they're kind of freaking out about all of that over there in Brady land. That's nuts. We get anything for Christopher Price? Okay. All right.
I'll try to call him one more time.
All
I've
right.
texted him once.
All right. All right. Well, I could get into something else that I wanted to talk about also on the show, and maybe I will. What the hell? Since we're kind of into it now, I might as well, if anything, try to set it up for 12:30 now at this point, if anything. Okay. Let's do this. I'll switch gears, but stay kind of with the Dolphins and the Patriots. Tom Curran, longtime reporter there in Boston, was on the Rich Eisen podcast. And they were talking about Brady's future. And Tom Curran had something very interesting to say about Brady's future.
His column posted last Wednesday was entitled, "Are These Tom Brady's Final Days with the Patriots?" ? It was a rhetorical question, the answer to which will be provided right now by Tom Curran back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Tom?
I'm not telling. Don't put me up. Don't you sell me down the river that way, Richard.
Well, I mean, I read your stuff, Tom. You said it sure sounds like it is. These final days of the Patriots.
As I wrote, it needs a radical course change to avert what appears to be a divorce, and it could still be an amicable divorce. It could be just simple, irreconcilable differences. We go each other's ways, or it could get ugly. But it does certainly seem that way unless there's a radical course change.
Well, I mean, I assume losing to the Kansas City Chiefs at home is not the radical course change that we're looking for. What does an amicable divorce look like, Tom, where they just say, we're both done here? I mean...
yeah, they say, look, Tom, you want $27 million, which is highly reasonable since Jimmy Garoppolo, for instance, makes $27 this year. We paid you $23 in 2019. We paid you, 15 or 16 with incentives that weren't even able to come close to hit 2018. You want to get paid more, we're just not going to do it. I'm going to sink that kind of money into it. And Brady says, yeah, I understand. I felt that might be coming. The whole 43 thing's bugging you, isn't it? Well, I'm going to go someplace else, or at least see what else is out there. And once he finds that, Rich, and it's the right situation, which I think he could find, he'll go to it. I really don't think retirement is anywhere in his sights. And again, I'm speaking of my perspective. No one's telling me how it's going to play out. I'm just watching the way things are adding up. They're not making predictions that this is what's going to happen, but the radical course change, that's informed opinion.
Well, then let's continue pulling on this thread. What is the right scenario for him? I mean, give me when he goes shopping and some team raises their hand. What is the right scenario for him that is actually feasible come March?
And if I can just take the liberty, I think probably people are sitting out there and saying, how did it get to this? And I think it got to this beginning in 2014, before I get to the scenario.
Yes.
When you are the Patriots and you try and have a succession plan you put in place with Jimmy Garoppolo, you draft him in 2014, a year after you signed Brady to a contract that brought him through 2017 and his 40-year-old season. And Robert Kraft said at the time, you know what? This was an quote-unquote elegant way of doing things. I did it as a fan. I don't want him to ever be anyplace else. They've done all they can and more in their minds, to make sure that he retires a Patriot. If he wants to keep playing for a certain amount of money and a certain amount of the salary cap at 43, and the Patriots want to start to reboot and move on, then that's why the split would happen. Amicable, not amicable, I would hope it would be the former, just for the way things have gone, but that often is difficult to have happen. What would be ideal? Honestly, Rich, knowing who he is since he's been in the public consciousness for 20 years and more, he wants to be able to prove something to somebody who thought that he couldn't do something, that he was unable to continue at a level. And that's why I keep coming back to the Miami Dolphins as a possibility. It's got your Michigan man friend, Stephen Ross, in charge. It's got Jerry Shaplinski as a quarterback's coach, and Chad O'Shea as your offensive coordinator, and Brian Flores as the head coach. It's got defensive personnel on the other side. It's certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year. So there or Los Angeles would be the two prime places. But again, I don't think they're even debating at this juncture where he might land.
There you go. Tom Curran. Interesting. Tom Brady in Miami. I think it's crazy. I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense. If you're trying to build a football team, why would you get a 40-something-year-old quarterback at that point, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense that you would do that.
I'm going to correlate it to back in the day. Marino going to the Bears because of Ditka and the Pittsburgh connection. That's kind of the same thing they're saying. Michigan, Ross, Brady.
Right.
But, I'm like you. You guys are really reaching here.
It's a complete reach. Plus, they're not close to a Super Bowl. And I don't think Brady makes you a Super Bowl contender next year at all. You're not making even the playoffs probably next year. He's not that quarterback anymore. I have a hard time understanding that. Now, can I play a little devil's advocate? All right? Are you ready? I can spin it the other way now, that it might make sense. Okay? Here we go. What Tom Curran was talking about is correct. You got the former coaches that know him, and they can bring him in. This allows them to then draft a guy that they can develop over the next 2 or 3 years while Brady's there. He can watch Tom Brady prepare. He can learn from Tom Brady over the next 2 to 3 years. I'm sure that you'll sit down and tell Brady, hey, Tom, we're looking at maybe 2 years, 3 years, and that's it. And we're going to probably have somebody that's going to groom under you. We hope that we support you for 2 to 3 years. This puts Tom in a division that he knows. This puts Tom in a position that he can stick it to Belichick. Okay? Yes, the Michigan man is there with Stephen Ross and the money and the support. And yes, the coaches are there. Now, is Tom willing to do that? Is he willing to roll the dice to come to a team that still has to load up over the next couple of years? Now, here's the other thing. Miami will have tons of cap space. So giving Brady the check is nothing to them at the moment because they've got plenty of cap space next year and the years after to come. That won't be an issue. Cap space won't be an issue. But is it worth it if you're the Dolphins? I mean, then you've given up on Rosen for sure, and you've given up on developing any kind of young quarterback for the next 2 years, at least, if you do that. So that means you're not going to draft Tua because you can think about keeping Tua out for a year if you want so he can completely get healthy, and in 2021, if that's what you want to do and have Tom Brady quarterback, okay. But you're not going to have Tua sit 2 or 3 years while Tom Brady's quarterbacking his last 2 or 3 years. That's why it doesn't make sense. Now, if you're bringing in Jordan Love, if you're bringing Anthony Gordon, if you're bringing Jacob Eason, if you're bringing a guy that either is raw, doesn't have a lot of experience, all of those kind of things, and needs to grow, then it kind of makes sense that you can keep him behind the scenes doing that stuff.
Let me add a caveat. Remember a few weeks ago when there was this banter between Brady and Odell Beckham and the fact that Beckham would love to play with Brady and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Imagine that. Brady comes here, and then Odell Beckham comes to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't think that will ever happen.
Right?
Yeah, that for sure will never happen. That for sure, guaranteed, will never happen because there is no way Flores wants to deal with that loser.
Thank God.
And
goodness.
And you're going to have that guy with South Beach. I mean, the guy flew down to South Beach in the middle of a playoff game. That's how much he loves South Beach. He'll never leave. He'll probably have an apartment there. That's where he's going to live.
Oh, for sure.
That's where he's going to live because that's what he would do.
He'll live right there at the hotel, Club Live.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just no. Yeah, that guy won't. That won't fly. But,
I'm just trying to be funny there, bro.
But it is really interesting to think about Tom Brady coming to Miami because there'll be some kind of motivation on his part. Now, if he is coming to Miami, Miami doesn't have to really pay him all that money. Miami can also kind of say, well, dude, we're not going to pay you $27 million. We're not going to do that. Well, here, we'll give you 15, 20. You got your wife. She's got plenty of cash. We're a no-tax state, so you're going to make more money anyway here as it is compared to, the Boston area where you are going to get heavily taxed there. So at least we'll give you that break. And if you really want to stick it to the Patriots, we'll help you, but you got to do it our way. Because if I'm the Dolphins, I wouldn't. First of all, I'd rather go young, to be honest with you. And can I delve even deeper into all of this?
Like bringing Brady in kind of sidetracks you.
No, it totally sidetracks you. But not only does it sidetrack you, if he starts to have success and all of that, it adds to the Dolphin history, and then it starts to crap on Marino too, because that's what's going to end up happening. You know what I mean? Because I know it. I can see it. In Marino years, they never were able to do this, like in the Brady years now, with late in the Brady years with the Dolphins. It would be just kind of disastrous in that sense. I'm telling you, it would come up.
You think that it would tarnish Marino?
No, it wouldn't tarnish Marino, but people would try to tarnish it.
Yeah, well, people are idiots.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Because you and I both have talked about this. If Marino would play in today's football, my God,
it's
500 yards
happen.
a game, bro.
It's going to happen.
And that 48 touchdowns would have been 68 touchdowns.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And people will write this, that Brady did this and Marino didn't. And all
people
that,
need to get their head out of their culo.
It's going to happen.
That's ridiculous.
It's going to happen. You got people that just made up, the whole tanking thing the entire time. They kept talking tanking, and they were never tanking. They were just building through youth. That's all. But they all created their own narratives, and they'll do it again. And that's what will happen.
Everything we've mentioned, if Brady did come down here, dude, we would become the soap opera. It would just...
Yeah, Brady's not a soap opera.
No, but the talk, the way people would be digging, like you said, all the stories, all of this. Can you imagine the soap opera, all the different angles and all the crap from the media? You know what I'm saying? No. It would be overkill, man.
On Brady?
No, not on Brady. Just the fact that Brady's here. He's with the Dolphins. The page, and then all the, you know what I'm saying? There would be so much, like Favre. The way all that stuff followed Favre.
Yeah, but Favre brought drama. He doesn't bring drama. He's not a drama guy.
You don't think that the media would actually
They would talk about Brady being here, but it wouldn't be Favre-like because he's
wouldn't be trying to turn over every conceivable angle and create stuff. Come on, man. It would be absurd.
No, because these guys aren't doing that. That's not what they are.
I'm not saying that it would be anything we're doing. The media does what they want to do, bro.
No, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? Look what they've done with us.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think it would be that. I think it'd be a storyline because obviously it's a great storyline.
It would be
Hall
a
of Fame
circus.
The greatest quarterback of all time switches teams. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and within the division, remember how it was with Favre going to Minnesota.
Yeah, it's just one of those where
I just see a media circus, bro. I see it.
Well, because you got Brady. I mean, media circuses come with Aaron Rodgers and with any kind of quarterback that you get. You get a top-notch quarterback, that's what you get. You get that kind of attention. But for me, it's a really interesting story to talk about. I just think it's a lot of hot air because I don't think in the end, if you're the Dolphins, you want to kind of move forward with your own and kind of make your – and this is what it's all been from the get-go. They started the slate clean. They don't want any other baggage from anywhere else. They're starting fresh with fresh faces. They're not trying to rebuild with anybody else. They're trying to actually build through young guys to establish the culture and then move on. And also, have you guys noticed this too? Okay. Turn the page here on the culture thing. All right. We had a whole bunch of idiots, right, that wanted to create the narrative of that they're tanking, that Chris Greer is like the mad scientist upstairs and he's trying to sabotage his own team to try to lose, like the lady in Major League, right? I don't know if you've caught this now, okay? Because we've been talking about it here for a while. But now nationally, we're hearing people, because did you hear in that Tom Curran interview, I forgot when it is that he says it. Let me see something here. Let me see. Bring it up.
But it does certainly seem that way unless there's a radical course change.
Well, I mean, I see.
Okay, let me see when he's talking about.
Which is highly reasonable since Jimmy Garoppolo, for instance, makes 27 this year. We paid you 23 in 2019. We paid you 2018. You want to get paid more, which is not going to do it that rich. And it's the right situation, which I think he could find, he'll go to it. I really don't think retirement is anywhere in his sights. And again, I'm speaking of my perspective. No one's telling me how it's going to play out. I'm just watching the way things are adding up. You know, they're not making predictions that this is what's going to happen, but the radical course change, that's informed opinion.
Well, then let's continue pulling. What is the right scenario for him that is actually feasible come March?
Listen to this.
And if I can just take the liberty, I think probably people are sitting out there and saying, how did it get to this? And I think it got to this beginning in 2014, before I get to the scenario.
Yes.
You know,
wait a minute.
And Robert Kraft said at the time, and more in their minds, to make sure that he retires a Patriot. 3, and the Patriots want to start to reboot and move on, then that's why the split would happen. Amicable, not amicable. I would hope it would be the former, just for the way things have gone, but that often is difficult to he's been in the public consciousness for 20 years and more. He wants to be able to prove something to somebody who thought that he couldn't do something, that he was unable to continue at a level. And that's why I keep coming back to the Miami Dolphins as a possibility. It's got your Michigan man friend, Stephen Ross, in charge. It's got Jerry Shaplinski as a quarterback's coach, and Chad O'Shea as your offensive coordinator, and Brian Flores as the head coach. It's got defensive personnel on the other side. It's certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
Oh, no! What did he say? Oh, what did he say there? Wait a minute.
It's certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
Really?
So
Really?
Los Angeles would.
Wow.
It's certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
Really?
Is this the first national acknowledgement of what we're doing? I mean,
no.
Saying culture like that.
This is the first soundbite I have. I've already heard it. This is the third time I've heard it. In the last couple of days.
Saying culture, us,
yes,
moving in the right direction,
yes,
all together in the
Brian
same.
Flores is instilling a culture there. It's like, really? Really? Come on.
Newsflash.
Now you guys caught up. Oh, I'm glad that you caught up here in week 15.
Just in time to get it in before the end of the season, right?
It's like what we've been talking about. Dude, our show has been so ahead of the curve on everybody pretty much, okay? Everybody. And now is when they're coming to, you know why? And what did we tell you also? Miami will start a trend with all of this in football because they're doing it the right way. I keep saying that, right? And now everybody's going to start saying that they're doing it the right way. What's the other thing that we've been telling you for a long time now? This is the fastest way to get good. It's what people don't understand. The ignorant person thinks, no, just cut a guy or two, but go sign more free agents and we'll get good right away. No, you won't. No, you won't. You'll create more cap issues because that's not how you get good.
By going backward, you go forward, and you get out of that mediocre, middle-of-the-road team, make the playoffs, then you're out for 3 years, make the play. That same scenario we've been in for 20.
Yep, that's right.
It's certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. And you're going to start hearing that. Pay attention now. Pay attention now, because now they've gone from, hey, they're sabotaging and tanking and putting players at risk to, hey, they know what they're doing there. Hey, they know how to draft. They know how to trade. Hey, they got a culture. Hey, they got a coach. Yeah, we know that already. I mean, come on, man. That's the part. I love that part. Well, they certainly got a culture there. That's a guy in Patriot land watching what they're doing in Miami. And one of the things that I talked about, I forgot which guest it was that we had on, that I asked and I pointed out that Brian Flores took more assistants with him to Miami than I think any other coach that has left the Patriots been able to take.
That probably goes back somewhere between 3 to 5 weeks, if I had to guess.
I forgot.
Somewhere in that.
I don't know what guest it was that I asked him, hey, is there something out of the norm here? Because Flores was able to get a few guys to come with him. And a couple of those guys, like I think O'Shea had been there a long time too. And to get those guys to come with him, that tells me that there's got to be this immense respect for Flores from those other guys. And that they all wanted to go out of that shadow and stand on their own. But I don't remember Romeo Crennel taking a few guys. I don't remember Vrabel taking a few guys. I don't remember Patricia taking a few guys. I don't remember Josh McDaniels taking a few guys. This guy did. And I just think that all of this is really come together. And again, can I go somewhere where some of you aren't willing to go? Chris Greer, dude. Chris Greer. He's the guy that has the vision to go grab Flores, who he knew would gut his roster with a couple of more coaches, okay? Weaken the people you're trying to play against and trying to beat. And then he goes and grabs 2 personnel guys that are highly respected around the league to make his team better. These are things that people just don't look at, you know what I mean? And I think strategically, Chris Greer knew what the hell he was doing when he did all of this. And now we're starting, well, I've seen it for a while, but now the world or the nation is starting to see what's developing here in Miami. Because when you got guys, saying stuff like they're creating a culture here.
Certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
I mean, in year one, think about that. Year freaking one with very little talent. And less talent every week, by the way. Let me just add that. Not only did you start the year with little talent, you have less talent every single week. I mean, it's like...
The IR list just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It's like Brian Flores kicks your ass, right? Then goes out of the ring, gets some water. Some guy comes by, massages his shoulders a couple times. Then he goes, hey, tie one arm on my back here. All right, good. He hops back into the ring. He kicks your ass again. And then he goes and takes a little break. He says, hey, do me a favor. Lift my leg and tie it to the back of my leg so I'm only hopping on one leg and I got one arm. Then he hops back into the ring and kicks your ass once again. And he goes, I feel like I got to test myself. Do me a favor. Tie the other arm. I don't need any arms for this next fight. And he goes back into the ring and kicks your ass again. I mean, that's Brian Flores. Every week, he's just going back with less talent. It's a gunfight, and he's showing up with a pop gun. It's a gunfight, and he has a paper knife. It's a gunfight, and he has chalk. I don't know. Whatever. It's just weird. how the guy does it every single week with less talent. And that's why people are looking around going, that dude I think can coach, bro. Because what is that? What is on that team? Who is that? Hell, the last time I saw that guy, he was in the UFL. You know, that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, man.
Fitz magic.
Telling you. Once again, it's
certainly got a culture, I think, that's being instilled this year.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Love it. They're finally seeing what we saw a long time ago. Just like you've got those insurance benefits, you know, they're gonna expire at the end of the year for your dentist appointments, for your cleaning, for your cavities. Maybe you got to get a crown done. Call Moody's Dental, please. Right now, they're the implant and Invisalign experts, folks. Take advantage right now of your insurance benefits for 2019. You got a couple of weeks left. You're going to leave that money there. It's not going to roll over. So that way you can get all the work done that you can this year, and then in 2019, when the new benefits start, you can go back for a second round. Lord knows I need third and fourth rounds. Call right now, man. I'm telling you, 305-821-0231. And before those insurance benefits run out, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental.
This is the Big O Show.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right. Welcome back. We take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock. And if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program as we take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock. A bunch of things to talk about. The other thing that I wanted to get into with the Miami Heat and the victory last night, which was awesome, 135-121 in overtime against Atlanta, is the development of these players and how it really is the perfect scenario in every way, shape, and form. And think about this. And those of you that have, followed the team for a long time, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. This is not a Riley-type team. And it's a blessing to have Eric Spoelstra as your coach. Okay? Hey, listen, Riley's the best in the business. I love Riley. Okay? Riley's my guy. But you guys know me. We're going to call things like we see it here. And Riley would have trouble with this kind of a group. Because, first of all, he would never cross this bridge. It's just not his thing. And in today's NBA, having Eric Spoelstra be a part of it is the thing that people don't understand. It has been such an amazing revelation. It has been just a great addition for this franchise. And I don't know if Riley had – I think Riley saw a hard worker and a good coach and a smart guy. I don't know if Riley had the kind of vision that he knew that Spo would be also an innovative guy. Because when he got the big three, he's the guy that kind of started this whole positionless thing. Because he saw the way the NBA was trending. He's the guy that goes to visit Chip Kelly and see how he has success in Oregon or other coaches and see how they do things, and in different sports to kind of see how it can contrast and complement and is opposite, and how it could actually add something to what he does. And he was open-minded to see what other coaches were doing and how they were maximizing their teams. And for Spo to be able to have that kind of success, not only with the big three, but then show you in the multiple ways he was able to adjust with the blood clots and everything that went on with with Bosch is playing now he's not playing, and then I've got to turn the team over to Wade and then whoever else he had, and he had to kind of adjust to everything. And then he had the journeymen come in, and he was able to get 31-10 out of those journeymen. And now you have a wave of young players. And here's a guy that connects with these young players in a way that he's even when you've seen them actually like struggle, and the players will tell you, well, Spo will tell me to keep shooting. And Spo, yesterday, great example. Yesterday at the end of the game, Tyler Hero is in there, and he's stinking out the place. He can't hit a shot if his life depended on it. But he was in it for the final, whether they were going to run it to him or he was going to be a decoy. Even if he's struggling, you at this point already in the season, everybody in the league has got respect for Tyler Hero's shot. And then that shows you that Spo is connecting with these guys at all kinds of levels. When they're succeeding, when they're not playing, when they're struggling. Either way, he's showing the confidence in them that Tyler Hero now feels better about himself at the end of the night, that like, man, I had a terrible night, but coach still believed in me because he put me in there. Duncan Robinson talks about how Spo tells him, you can change a game, dude. Keep shooting. And even in the interview after the game, he was talking about the story how they kept wanting him to push for 10 in a game, 10 threes in a game. And finally, he hit it. And he was talking about when I hit the 10, I wanted number 11 because I want to be greedy like that. And then you should always want more. You should never, ever be satisfied with anything you're doing. You should push for the next level, whatever it is, because that's what it's all about. And having Spo here is it's funny because we those of us that are Spo fans, we deal with some of the people that are never giving Spo enough credit, right? And I just talked about several examples of how he has shown us that he's a hell of a coach. No matter what kind of talent he's got on the court, he will find a way to make it better. You could be NBA journeymen, you can be all-stars, you can be young players, it doesn't matter. And believe it or not, it's a blessing. It is really an advantage for Miami right now that they have Eric Spoelstra as their coach for this team over even Pat Riley. Because Pat is set in his ways. Pat is set in his center. Pat is set in his inside-outside game, right? He didn't really adjust that much. He didn't have to. But the game changed. And it's changed completely that he would have to adjust himself. But the blessing is that you have a guy that is the perfect guy to change with everything that's been going on in the NBA. And kudos to Riley in finding that guy in Eric Spoelstra. But no doubt, man, the perfect guy for this team and the guy that is going to be able to get the maximum out of all of these players.
Didn't he come out of our film room?
Yes.
Amazing, right?
Yeah. And so is Dan Craig, the one that took over for him in the interim. And he was the coach of the year in the CBA or whatever the hell it's called, the G League, A League, H League, whatever you want to call it, in Sioux Falls. He won the championship and won coach of the year, and he also started in the film room too. I mean, Andy Ellisberg is your cap expert. He started in the ticket department. I mean, that's just how that's how it is in that franchise. You pay your dues, you get rewarded. And you show that you can do the job, they're not going to just bring somebody in from the outside over you. They won't do that. And that's pretty cool. But again, I think people don't look enough and deep enough into how important it is that Eric Spoelstra is your coach. It really is an absolute blessing, and it's proven over and over and over again. And this team, that dude deserves all the credit in the world. Oh, and the other thing, his coaches have rotated too. He hasn't had the same assistants the last few years. Very Belichick-like, very Saban-like for Eric Spoelstra. Assistants change, but the production stays the same. It's impressive. Really is. And that's why I laugh at any of the folks out there that are discounting what that guy does and has done and will do for the Miami Heat as their head coach. And what a blessing, too, that you got a great organization, you got a great owner, you got obviously one of the best and the greatest basketball minds in the history of the game in Pat Riley, and you got a lifer. Because Spo's not going anywhere. Because you got a great franchise, so he's comfortable. And he's already established. So we're lucky that he's not an old coach. He's a young coach that still has lots of years left. As much as he wants to coach, he's going to be able to coach. And we're blessed because we've had him here for, what is it now? I want to say 12, 13 years, I think he's been the head coach. And you could easily keep him here for another 12 or 13. And that would be 25 years of excellence and 25 years of having a guy that is open enough to see what's going on and to go with the changes of the NBA. It's impressive, man.
It would be awesome because then Spoelstra could pass on the Riley stuff to the next generation guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And keep it right here as is. It ain't broken, don't fix it. This is what works.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be amiss. Have we mentioned Jones Jr., man?
Oh, his defense?
Bro, what he did to Trae Young. Because we both own him in fantasy.
No, I don't.
You
own
don't?
him. No,
you
own
don't?
him. No, I don't own Trae Young.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Oh,
I
too
own
bad
John
for you.
Collins.
Ah, that's okay. That's the guy. We're waiting. We're waiting.
Right.
We're waiting on
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Christmas Day. Suspension ends.
Jones Jr., man.
Huh?
Big difference.
Yes, he played great D yesterday.
The kid's got moxie, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jones, I mean, again, it just, that's Spo. Okay, Jones, you're the guy that's going to play defense on Trae Young. And he figured out a way. That's Spo. That goes off of what we were just talking about now. That it's just, I'm telling you, you have the right coach leading this team. Better than Riley for this time, for these kind of players, for this scenario, for all the scenarios that have developed over the last few years. Spo is the right guy to be coaching this team. How would you ever say that over Riley? Think about that.
That's almost blasphemous, man.
But it's the truth. It's the truth.
No doubt.
It's the truth. Riley would struggle with these kind of players, this kind of offense, this kind of league. This is not his league. I mean, he straddled them with Whiteside. That's not a Spo move, dude.
That old thinking center is the corner piece.
Riley screwed up.
Yeah.
Riley screwed up. And then when they were doing the draft and they looked at Bam, that's this kind of center that you need in this league. And when they were able to sign Olynyk, that's this kind of center you need in this league. Not that dude. And that's Riley, dude. I love Riley, but...
Well, look, we give props to Riley because to actually be able to create this, get Jimmy Butler and what he's been able to do, his influence on the team, we never, ever thought we were just going to have to wait till we get out from underneath these crappy salaries.
Right.
Dude, this is fast-tracked. We're supposed to be waiting another 2 years.
Right.
Look at where we're at.
Right. And I
Riley
think,
he came out of the ashes,
he will get the credit, but I think there are others that are assisting him in the way they have redeveloped this roster, and they're headed in another direction. because Riley is set in his thinking, and he proved that with those bad signings.
Look how many years he had in the league.
Right. Well, because the
Yeah.
league never changed, but the league changed, and he wasn't ready for those changes. And luckily for him, he put the right guy in place that is ready, willing, and able to make the changes that you need. And that's why we were talking about this whole segment in Spo ultimately being the perfect guy for all of these scenarios that have developed over the last couple of years. And I know it's one of those things that not a lot of people would have the balls to say, but it's the truth, man. It just is. What are you going to do? Let's see. Tim is saying, what's good, bro? Preach that good news today. Thank you, sir. Dougie Fresh says, Brady to the Finns is like the girl your friend thinks is a good fit. Resume, habit of cleaning, diva, acts entitled, and her best years are behind her. That's fair. All fair. For me personally, I don't want that move. I want a fresh new face. I want youth, and I want to continue in this youth direction. You see what's going on with the Heat? Same thing. Flores is building a culture in Miami this year for sure. Wonder if next year's over and under on wins will be the Dolphins in Vegas books. This year was 4.5. I took the over. NorCal, that will all depend on the draft and who they acquire in free agency, and then we'll find out what Vegas thinks about the Dolphins next year. Big O, would you make this trade for the Heat with Memphis? Jones Jr., Deion Waiters, James Johnson, Myers Leonard for Iguodala, Crowder, and Valanciunas. Valanciunas can be traded December 15th, Eugene and Homestead. Well, I don't know the Crowder and Iguodala contract situations. I think Iguodala's done after this year. If he is, then I can understand because he's a defensive specialist. All of that would help out. Crowder would be a forward three, would help you out a little bit. Getting rid of Deion Waiters and James Johnson would be a blessing in disguise. There's no doubt about it. It's kind of an awkward trade. I don't know if that trade really makes you that much better, my man. I don't know if I would do that trade because I kind of rather would keep Jones Jr. for the look at how you used him yesterday as a specialist. The question is, do you have a Ronaskill and Alan Ogg shirt? Oh, a Ronnie Cycli and Alan Ogg shirt. Do I have one, Bill and Simmy?
Paint is the land of Og. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Do I have a Ronnie Cycli or an Alan Ogg? Did they ever make even an Alan Ogg shirt? You would have to buy like the late Alan Ogg, by the way. Let me also preface that by saying, sadly, Alan Ogg is no longer with us. So
wasn't he a doctor? Wasn't he?
No, you're talking about Kessler.
Oh,
who
Kessler.
is no longer
I'm
with
sorry.
us also.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Alec Kessler was the
right.
the
Kessler.
doctor that got lost on the boat.
Yep.
Yes. And neither one is with us anymore. I don't know if I ever saw an Alan Ogg jersey or shirt. So, Bill, that's an unfair question. The Cycli one is fair. Okay? The Cycli one is fair. And you never know. I could surprise you. You just never know. We'll continue answering your questions and your comments and all your good stuff there on the other side. If you want to get in, it's really simple, folks. All you got to do is dial 786-322-1105. At the top of the hour, I believe it's 1 o'clock, I believe Andy Behrens is going to join us to talk a little fantasy basketball. You know what? We got to do like a Heat/fantasy basketball segment. Let's break it down with Andy. How many fantasy studs are developing on the Heat roster right now, right? Because if you're like in a league where threes are an important category, doesn't Duncan Robinson become that much more valuable? You know what I mean? If you're in a multiple category league where you got to have rebounds and assists and all that stuff, maybe Duncan won't be as valuable, but points and three-pointers, definitely, right? So let's ask. All right, Andy Behrens, and if you have any fantasy basketball questions, send them in now on the YouTube chat board, on Twitter at Big O Show, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. And let me tell you, because next week we're going to be at Toyota of Hollywood, the greatest Toyota dealership on the planet, the number one official volume dealer in the country, and they're open till midnight. And right now, they've got over 1,500 Toyotas in stock, and the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event is going on right now. Go see Steve Ostroff. Go see Herbie Lopez. Go see all the great people out there, man. They will take care of you at 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar right off the turnpike. It is Toyota of Hollywood.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. All right, we do a little fantasy basketball every Wednesday at 1 o'clock with Andy Behrens from Yahoo Fantasy. As always, follow him on Twitter at Andy Behrens and catch his work there at Yahoo Fantasy. All right, Andy, I want to get into this. How many fantasy studs are developing with the Miami Heat team?
Oh, I knew exactly where we were going to start. I almost need you to explain this situation to me. Duncan Robinson's great. Tyler Hero is obviously one of the most promising rookies of the league. Kendrick Nunn is in that conversation. This is the rare case where a team with, almost no first round picks to speak of has such a bright future.
Right.
This is a really impressive collection of shooters, and just a great way to build around someone of Jimmy Butler's caliber. This is a damn fun team you've got there, and it seems like somebody every night is capable of draining 7 or 8 threes, which is just incredible.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler became even more valuable because the guys around him are so good that he's facilitating and doing all the other things that you thought he would have to carry the load offensively. So you thought he'd be busy more scoring baskets, driving to the hoop, all that stuff. And he doesn't have to do that because he has so many guys around him that can actually take that burden off him. So there are nights where he's just rebounding and assisting and stealing and doing all those other things and filling up the rest of the stat sheet, which I would imagine us fantasy players, at least whoever owns Jimmy, is freaking loving it.
Yeah, it's funny. Coming into this season, I was looking at Jimmy Butler as a bit of a bargain and somebody that I kind of liked at the back end of the first round, early second round, but I had it all wrong because I was thinking, in this setup on that team, man, Jimmy's going to average 25. This is going to be a career high in points per game. He's going to get all the shots he wants. We know he can get to the line at will as long as he stays healthy. He's just going to be a huge point producer, and he's going to fill the stat sheet. But I mean, he's at like 27 and 7 right now, something like that. Like a rebounding volume I hadn't seen, an assist volume that I just had not foreseen. But he's such a willing, he's such a willing distributor and such a good distributor. And we've seen that in situations where maybe he's not even surrounded by the same quality of offensive weapons. But with these shooters, just going to be really fun all year. And it's nice to see him sort of content to be, I don't know, was it 20, 21 points per game right now? But he's just filling it up everywhere else. 2 steals a game. He's just been remarkable. He's a wonderful player. Like, I don't know how good he's going to be at the end of this contract, but right now, he's just absolutely sensational.
And let me tell you, Bam is playing at an all-star level. At the beginning of the year, I said, well, Bam or Winslow have got to step up. One of those guys has got to become at least close to all-star. Well, I think Bam is playing all-star caliber because it's not just points and rebounds. He's getting the assists, the steals, the blocks. He's adding everything along that stat line.
Yeah, Bam is funny. He was a very buzzy player in the preseason fantasy-wise. He made everybody's sleeper list. People were, you'd see people reaching for him in the 5th round, and he's really exceeded all expectations. Pretty much a best-case scenario for the Miami Heat so far. I'm wowed at what they're getting at, what they got out of Robinson most recently. But again, it was Hero before that. It's Nunn almost every other night. It's a very impressive collection of young talent.
Yeah, and how about Duncan? I know that Duncan doesn't fill up all the other lines of the stat sheet, but if you're in a league where 3-pointers are an important category, then I would imagine Duncan is not available in any of those kind of leagues.
Yeah, I added him this morning in the Yahoo Friends and Family League, and like somebody who hits 10 threes in a game is just an automatic ad.
Dude, he just hit 9.
You don't have to fill.
Dude, he just hit 9 a couple days ago, so it's like he's hit 19 in the last couple of games.
Yeah. Like you don't have to fill every category if you're capable on your best nights and your best weeks of single-handedly winning me a stat. And he's clearly like that. He's almost like a steal specialist or a block specialist. And obviously when he's draining, 6 to 10 threes a given night, the points are going to follow. So like maybe we can't count on assists, rebounds, anything like that. He's had some nifty games in terms of steals though. He's had a couple of 3-steal games. But if you're capable of hitting 10 threes in a game, you're just somebody who has to be added in any sort of deep league.
Yeah, none. I did bench this week because I got John Morant back this week, so I ended up putting him on the bench. But I guess I'm going to regret it because last night, boy, he put up he's been in kind of a funk the last couple of weeks. Looks like he's bouncing back now in a strong way.
Yeah, and certainly in real life, you have to love that the Heat are so deep and so rich in young talent that it doesn't, Hero a couple games ago was sensational, and then he has a quiet night, but it doesn't matter because you've got Duncan Robinson filling it up. It's going to be rare that nobody steps up to support Butler. They have so many talented shooters, so many talented players.
I'm with you there. And, of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Andy Barons. Catch his work there at the Yahoo website, getting it done there. All right, let's bounce around a little bit. Last week we talked about Lonnie Walker as an under-the-radar guy, and he's kind of stayed under the radar after that explosive night. He really hasn't done anything since then. So I don't know if any of you picked him up or still have him on your roster. Maybe hang in there. But how about the center Gafford from Chicago? Is this a guy that we need to start taking a look at and maybe a guy that could become a more impactful player down the line? Because it looks like his minutes are starting to grow there.
Yeah, it's fun that you mention him. I feel like we talked about him for the first time maybe it was 3 weeks ago when he was finally getting a look. By the way, I'm going to be I'm like the only person still going to the United Center for these Bulls games. I'm going to be there tonight, watch them play the Hawks. I'm looking forward to it. Gafford is not like an entirely complete player. Like when the ball comes to him, it's not going anywhere else, right? Like he's looking to dunk everything. He's looking to score the ball. Really fun. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know what his wingspan is, but it wouldn't shock me if you told me that his wingspan is like 7'4". His arms go on forever. Really exciting defensive player, block shot potential, and he is looking to score. Really good rebounder, very capable rebounder, and just really, really good around the basket. He was an absolute monster in summer league.
And so, what would you suggest? Is this a guy that is going to, since you're there a lot, does it seem like a guy that is going to grow are these minutes going to grow and his responsibilities are going to grow?
Yeah, I guess I would say the only tricky thing there is the team is sort of, the Bulls are not rich with very many things, but they do have young power forwards and setters, right? So Carter demands minutes. Markkanen obviously demands minutes. Not that he does the same things that Gafford does. Not that they fill the same role. But I'm going to be shocked, and I think that everybody who's still following the Bulls is going to be disappointed if Gafford doesn't at least settle in at like 25 or so minutes a game, which is certainly enough to make a fantasy impact. He's a lively player too, which we can't necessarily say about everybody in a losing environment. He goes hard every time he's out there, and the Bulls, for better or worse, have a coach right now who has kind of a high schoolers vibe to him in Boylan, and he is going to play the guys who are working hard, and that is very clearly going to be Daniel Gafford.
Okay, Mikal Bridges from Phoenix, is he a guy that maybe is starting to trend up?
Yeah, well, part of that is that he was a bit of a disappointment. Him and Miles Bridges too. Like Bridges generally have sort of disappointed us.
They've burned Bridges. They've burned Bridges.
They have definitely burned Bridges. Yeah, but absolutely, he's actually someone whose ownership percentage cratered a little bit and is now trending up again. Been pretty frisky lately. Also a guy playing around 30 minutes a game, had a nice little string of double-digit scoring performances along with some pretty decent rebounding totals, a couple of block shots here and there, some defensive goodies. So, yeah, absolutely. I think he's around 40% ownership in Yahoo leagues right now, and that seems a little late to me, to be perfectly honest. There's enough deep leagues out there that I would think he would be scooped up in most of them.
All right. Remember, you can follow Andy on Twitter at Andy Behrens. If you have a fantasy question, you can send it in on our YouTube chat board, on Twitter, on DM, however you want to do it at Big O Show. Are you still buying into Melo? Were you ever buying into Melo? What do you tell people that are hanging on? Because they did give him that bogus Player of the Week award, which he really didn't deserve. But go ahead.
Yeah, again, just to remind people, he won Player of the Week in the Western Conference in a week when James Harden had a 60-point game. That's incredible to me. It is just absolutely incredible.
And by the way, they played your beloved Bulls twice that week, I think.
Yeah, that certainly helped. The low degree of difficulty matchup certainly helps for Carmelo. I mean, I got to say this. I feel like this season has basically been a best case scenario for him. He's shooting a really good percentage from three. He's only shooting about 40% from the floor, but I'm not sure that you could have expected more from that. Fine from the line. It's about 16 points a game. He's still, I don't know. Defensively, he looks like exactly the guy that we last saw, who just sort of stands in one spot and doesn't rotate and points a lot and tells other people where to go. It's a lot of that. But they clearly like him. He was Dame's guy, and he's clearly going to continue to receive minutes. I missed the boat because I was too skeptical. I just did not think that he was going to come back as a 16-point per game player. I thought maybe it'd be limited minutes. It would be, it'd be 10 sloppy points a game. And sometimes they've been sloppy, but it hasn't. Obviously, it hasn't been all that bad. But I've entirely missed the boat on him. I see him as a decent guy that you can throw into a trade as kind of a trade sweetener. He's clearly not peak Melo or anything like it. He's very much like the last version of Melo that we saw. But I don't know. I'm looking at his game logs now, and you look at all the recent performances. He's a plus 12. Okay, there's a minus 21 in there, but he's a plus 15. The team has figured out more or less how to win with him, and that's been really impressive. He's only got one game in his last 4 in which he's played less than 34 minutes. So the minutes have been there. The shots have certainly been there. Particularly if you're in not a categories league where you have to worry about shooting percentages, but if you're in a points league, he's been a really great find.
The coaching change with the Knicks, will there be any kind of fantasy play out of that we could take advantage of? What do you foresee?
This is an almost sad thing to say, but I don't know that the Knicks have a player good enough outside of Barrett to even worry about.
Okay.
like the coaching change having a major impact. You have to worry about Barrett's long-term development in this mess of a season and on this mess of with this mess of a front office. It's just really unfortunate. I don't know why they built the team that way. They've got this terrible rotation of point guards now, like full of guys that you aren't going to want to own. Elfrid Payton is getting minutes. There's just not a lot there that I'm excited about. And you kind of worry for a player like Barrett, as talented as he is, that he's just going to be stuck in this mess for a few years. That, Miller isn't necessarily going to be their coach for the next 3. Like, you can't just keep churning through coach after coach after coach, giving young, talented players new voices to hear all the time. There's not much of anything in New York that I'm particularly excited about right now until they start trading from their massive haul of power forwards, right?
Right. No, I got you.
Until some of this mess clears up, you can't get too excited about anybody.
No, I'm with you. I ask only because on bad teams, usually you need a player to, he gets all the opportunities. So outside of Barrett, which that guy's already owned, is there anybody else? Because bad teams, sometimes there's fantasy opportunities, which is a beautiful thing.
Well, you still feel good about Mitchell Robinson, who's been playing 25 to 30 in this game. He blocks basically 2-3 shots every time out there. So as a shot blocker, you feel good about him. He's getting a handful of straight points. But beyond that, I just don't want anything to do with that mess.
All right. Matthias what is it, Bull or something?
Yes! That is the name that I was saving. This is the guy that I wanted to bring up as a, not even a deep ad, just somebody who at some point has to be added in almost every league.
So
the minutes are there.
Our boy Josh Richardson should be nervous about this? Is that what you're saying?
Well, sure, a little bit. Richardson is obviously a really good player. He's going to continue to play, but Bible is now coming into, I think he's averaging for the year, it might be like 16 or 17 minutes a game, but lately it's been more than that. I just want to give you some per 36 numbers for Thibault. Per 36 minutes, he's giving 3.1 steals per game and 1.5 blocks per game. That is just absolutely elite. Per 100 possessions, he's giving you over 4 steals a game. This is a lockdown defensive player, and while he is hitting threes, he's kind of the ultimate 3-and-D guy, because defensively, he's just a demon. He's just an absolute terror. Like, this isn't one of those cases where he's getting steals because he gambles all the time and he's really a sloppy defender. But they're not like, I guess what I'm saying is they aren't like those James Harden steals, right? Like, this is a really good defender who will just, if you have a weak handle, he's like, I'm going to take that ball. I'm just going to go ahead and take that ball from you right now. He's been really fun to watch, and he's had plenty of games where the minutes have been there. You look at some of his plus minuses, plus 20, plus 13, plus 15, plus 13. There's a -5 in there, but back to a +3, +4, +6. Like, he's just a net positive every time he steps on the floor, a lockdown defensive player. And if he's getting even north of 15 minutes per game, he is a guy. We talked about this with Duncan a bit earlier. Thibault's a guy who can single-handedly win you a category. He will win you steals in a given week. And he's also one of those guys where I feel like you and I have discussed this sort of concept before. You can get some big man stats from a wing player, which you just absolutely have to love. Like, you can get blocks. You're getting a block and a half a game. If he gets minutes, you're getting a block and a half, 2 blocks a game from a guy who plays on the wing, and that's just really hard to beat. He's just an absolutely wonderful defense player, and I know he's not going to be gaudy stats and assists or rebounds or points or anything like that. He'll hit some threes, but man, he's going to be a category killer in steals for sure.
Okay, so that was going to be my follow-up question, because obviously those of us that play fantasy, he's more of a specialist, not the guy that you're going to get to be a full-time starter that's going to fill up multiple categories and going to score a lot of points for you.
Yeah, so that's the trick. If you're in a points league, and this is why I don't like points leagues, and I probably shouldn't even say that because it's like the default format at Yahoo now. But like, I don't like leagues where you don't have to think about balance, right? Where you don't have to think about different player traits, where you can just chase guys who are kind of empty numbers producers. Like, I don't want a league where I can win with a bunch of Colin Sextons and a couple of stars, right? Like, I don't want that. I want to have to think about who's going to block shots for me, who's going to hit
Right.
steals, who's going to hit threes, who's going to do all these things, and what are the percentages going to look like. I enjoy that. And Thibault is just one of those guys who's going to crush it for you in steals. Like, he's almost to the point where you think about like the block specialist, where if you just have one of those guys, you don't need to worry about steals. If you got Thibault on your team and he's playing 30 minutes a night, you don't have to worry about steals from anybody else because you're going to be competitive in the category. He's that good.
Yeah.
And again, the minutes are going to be there. This is a frightening defensive team. When they really start to get it all together between Horford and Bede, Simmons, the overall size of that team, Thibault, I mean, they're just going to be able to lock down anybody.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Thibault is so low on the offensive priority list. I mean, there's a couple of other guys that are going to get the ball before him to score in. And so that's where he also kind of falls a little bit behind the pecking order offensively. So that's another ladder.
Well, I will
that
say
he has to
he's got
climb.
8 threes in his last 2 games. He's got 8 threes in his last 2 games, and he's had some games where he's knocked down multiple threes. And if that becomes consistent for him, then he earns the minutes. And then he's a guy that you can't really play him off the floor or anything like that. And he's such an elite defender that he's just going to have to play, especially when the tougher the opponent, the more valuable he is because you can just lock down your best player.
Yeah, no doubt. And what you love about him is if you watch his fantasy numbers, I don't care what league you're in, watch the last 4 weeks. The trend has been up and up and up every single week. He has scored more in fantasy, so that's definitely a guy you want to look at. We talked a little bit about him last week, but he's been on a tear. So I just want to make sure that you're either you're suggesting we hang on to him or sell him right now because it's an all-time high, and that's Davis Bertans. Because that guy is hitting threes when he's walking outside of the locker room. Okay? He's like, the second he walks out of the locker room, it's like, give it to me, I'm open. And he's making them from the locker room. So is this a guy that's super red hot right now, unconscious? And should we move him? Because, we talked about Mortzker or whatever the other guy, he's probably more of the double-double guy, the hardcore guy. Is Davis the real deal? Should we hang on to him?
Yeah, I will say that I still think of Mo Wagner as the guy who
Wagner, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, the more bankable sort of double-double player is gonna give you a handful of threes. And I think you're seeing, I mean, if this is peak Bertans, though, it's sensational because he's had no fewer than 19 points in each of his last 6 games. The rebounding hasn't really been there for a player his size that you would necessarily want, right? For guys who's going to fill power forward
dude, he had 9 rebounds the other night. Like a couple nights ago, he shocked me. He had 9 rebounds. I was like, holy crap! He had like
the game
25
before he had
points.
3.
Yeah, like 25 points.
You look at
rebounds.
these game logs, and it's like 3, 4, 5, 1,
right.
9, 3.
Right.
But I don't know that the rebounding's going to be there. But I mean, again, as we mentioned with Duncan earlier, if you're able to hit 5 threes a night, it doesn't matter. like he's winning. Anybody who started him in a weekly league is definitely winning threes this week with the guy. So like he's a win there. He's a bit of a category crusher as well. Again, not a ton of help, of a handful of blocks here and there, but not a ton of help in other categories. But the points have been extremely reliable. And his last again, we're looking at the last 6 games. He hasn't hit fewer than 4 threes in any of them. So shooting a great percentage, certainly a worthy ad. It's like this entire Wizards roster basically only exists to help fantasy owners right now. Every time I look at the transaction trends in Yahoo leagues, it's a new batch of Wizards that we see. It's the guy that, it was Mo Wagner a little while ago, it was Bertans. It's, it was Isaiah Thomas for a while, and then he got hurt. And, it's new Wizards rotating in all of the time. Hachimura's been really fun, too. That guy's going to make the all-rookie team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's but Bertans, man, he has been absolutely impressive. All right, we'll close it out with this. Anything else you want? Is there a name out there that you wanted to touch on that maybe I overlooked and didn't mention?
Well, I mean, you hit the name that I was most eager to talk about, and that was Thibault. I guess I said my piece on him. Again, super excited about him. I just looked up his ownership percentage in Yahoo League. It's only 16%. So In more than 80% of leagues, there's a guy out there who, again, averages for 36 minutes over 3 steals a game and a block and a half. And these are legit numbers, too. There's nothing fluky about it. We're way past the point in the season where you'd say it's a small sample issue. Like, this is who he is. He is 3 steals a game if he gets the minutes.
Good stuff. As always, follow him on Twitter at Andy Behrens and catch his work at Yahoo Fantasy. We always talk about Sundays in the NFL. Tell us a little bit about fantasy basketball. What do you guys do there at Yahoo so folks can check you out, my man?
Every Thursday, my man Dalton Del Don, my coworker, will have a list of pickups. I'll have a pickups video for you. And then every Thursday, also the Yahoo Fantasy Hoops podcast. You can hear me, Dalton, and occasionally a guest talking through the week ahead, the week that was, hot storylines in the NBA. So check it out.
There you go. He is the legend, Andy Behrens. We'll see him on Friday for a little fantasy football. Studley as always. Thank you, Andy. You got it, baby. Everybody. Take it easy. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. I won my first week in fantasy playoffs without even trying.
That in every aspect is just so not right, man.
Hey, man.
You know that.
Hey, listen, they can either deal with me trying and going to the Super Bowl or not trying and still getting the playoffs.
So they
either way,
they cut the legs out from underneath you, gave you no aspect of doing anything to your team, and you still crept into the playoffs and won a game on top of it.
Bill and Simmy, let me whip out a classic for you. About that right there. There's a little classic Heat Locker, number 4. You know who number 4 is, right? You asked me, right? Did I have a Cycly shirt? There we go. There's your Cycly shirt.
Our first rookie draft pick.
Yep, there you go. Look at that. It's embroidered and everything, this Miami Heat stuff. It's an old shirt, dude. This shirt is like...
Yeah, our first season was what, 87, 88?
Yeah, this shirt is from the 80s.
Yeah, this is 30 years old, bro. It's 10 years older than your daughter.
Yes. This is an old shirt right there. How about that? A little classic Miami Heat for you right there. Love it. How about that? So you ask and you shall receive. That's the beauty of having this studio in your house, right? You get to actually whip out a couple of things. There you go. Little Cycly. You asked for Cycly. I can't produce Alan Ogg, but I can produce Cycly.
Paint is the land of Og.
I could probably go get a clacker, too, from the early days, too. I can whip one out.
The clacker from our very first playoff game versus the Bulls. Inter Miami Car Rental, I think, is who it was.
I don't remember now.
Yeah, bro, like that.
I don't remember, but I do
How
have
about that?
I have a lot of those little giveaways from back in the day.
You know, I can remember the last couple minutes of the game and Alan Ogg getting in there and us just he would get a block. Somehow, some way he would get that's why the paint is the land of Og.
Yeah.
And just dying for him to get a basket. And if he got a basket, we would go absolutely crazy.
Oh, of course. Folks, if you got that leaky roof, there's only 10 months left, man, to open your IRMA claim. What are you waiting for? Don't settle for less. For a free inspection, please call my friends at East Coast Public Adjusters. All right, 855-GET-ECPA. Again, less than 10 months to make that IRMA claim. Don't put it off. Please call East Coast Public Adjusters. Tell them that Big O sent you. 855-GET-ECPA.
This is the Big O Show.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Welcome back.
This is the Big O Show.
We take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock. Michelle Kaufman is going to join us at 2 for her Inter-Miami report. We do it every week here on the program, talking a little football. We talk about it all, man. I almost had Mark Feinsand on today. We couldn't clash today. He had some business to do, but I was going to bring him on to talk a little bit about the Garrett Cole deal and talk a little bit about the Yankees spending $324 million for that dude, $36 million a year. It's a crazy deal, but you got to do it. You have no choice. If you're those kind of teams and you want to win your championship and you have those standards, that's what you got to do. It'll be a bad deal on the back end. It's kind of like the Bobrovsky deal. If the Panthers have success with him in the next few years, they'll deal with the back end of the contract, which will be absolutely terrible. Okay? Let's see. Basketball Insiders talking about some trades. You never know. Basketball Insiders is, let's see. Douglas Farmer is writing. I wonder if the Heat are at all involved in any of this. It says, unofficially, D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle join Kevin Love in trade ponderings. The Cavs forward has long been the cornerstone of the rumor mill. Soon he will have company. While Love has become a mainstay in imagined trades, Russell and Randle will provide new ground to cover, though far from unexpected, being each of their summer signings was met with immediate trade musings. So there you go. Love signing a 4-year, $120 million deal. Never fit with the Cavs. And at the end of the deal, he'll be 34. Plus, he's a sack of injuries. Russell also now is there, but they'll have Klay Thompson back next year. And Randall's 3-year contract in New York was a bit of an anomaly during an offseason in which the Knicks otherwise signed a multitude of veterans to only 1-year deals. In other words, he was the only new piece with long-term potential, while Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris, and Taj Gibson would serve as nothing more as expiring contracts and rentals in deals. Any of those three do anything for you?
That's a negative.
And you know what? I'm at a point now. I think Ira Winderman's the one that wrote that today. I don't know if I want to trade anybody now. Unless I can trade the crap. Like, if I'm trading Dion Waiters and James Johnson to get a disgruntled star that they're dying to get rid of because it's just an ugly situation, then fine. But if I got to give away Tyler Hero or Kendrick Nunn or Duncan Robinson now, no, dude, I'm done.
Hey, even Kelly. I want Kelly to stay. His
Olynyk?
ability to shoot, come on.
But I don't
If
know
we get
what
the
I'm
right
getting
guy,
right.
if we get the right guy, but
That's not future. That's like now. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the guys that you see now that
what's
they're
gonna
building.
be our core for the
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
But
not,
I- but
some
I-
of these guys like Nunn and Carlos Silva, they are getting paid nothing, so it's really hard to trade them anyway because you have to throw in so much other things just to end up getting, to the number that you need to stay within that trade. But I just no, man. I'm at a point now where I'm happy with what they have.
I
know they're not a championship team, but I don't care right now. This is a team you can build on, dude.
I was just gonna say you could definitely see that we add the right star.
Yeah.
Man,
I'd rather wait a
sky's the
year and a
limit.
half for the contracts to expire because the stars are going to be lined up to join the
Oh.
Miami Heat now.
Of course.
1, we're in Miami. 2, you got Riley. 3, you got Spo. 4, you got one hell of a roster now. So if you add a star to what looks like 2 stars, because Butler's a star, and I think Bam's a star now. He played like a star yesterday, dude. When he got that ball and went all the way down court and laid it up, that's star right there,
when he
dude.
stopped, just
Boom.
finger rolled it.
Juked him and then
Yeah.
just finger rolled it. That's a star right there, dude. That's a star. The big man grabbed the rebound, took it all the way down court, juked your ass, and finger rolled it right in.
Who was it? George Gerving? The Iceman?
yeah, the
was the
Iceman.
finger roll?
Or the finger roll.
Dude, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was awesome. I'm just watching Bam yesterday. Block shots, assists, score, rebound, clutch shooting, clutch plays. Star. Every time I see star. So when I see these rumors, and I'm glad that the Heat weren't part of any of those. Because I don't even want to hear about him anymore at this point. Again, unless it's just to get rid of the crap because somebody else wants to get rid of their crap, then we're good. But if you're going to get rid of your youth for any of that, no. No. Not doing it. I am super happy with the direction of the Miami Heat right now. Right now, they've got the team that can scare the crap out of anybody. Okay? I don't care what team you are, you don't want to play these guys. Why? Because they're loaded with shooters. And they come in hot on any night, they can beat anybody in the NBA. Now, can they beat the Clippers in a series? No, of course not. Are they going to beat the Lakers in a series? No. Can they beat any of those teams on a night? Yes. In a few nights, they will play the Lakers. Can they beat the Lakers here at home? Hells to the yeah, they can beat the Lakers. Now, will they beat LeBron and Anthony Davis in a 7-game series? No. They're not there yet. But I like the fact that they got a shot now against anybody. I like the fact that they can shoot the hell out of the ball. And Lord knows, after watching the last couple of years, a team that couldn't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse, it's nice to have a team now that can has plethora. They scored 135 points without Goran Dragic yesterday. I would tell you Justice Winslow, but Winslow in offense is an oxymoron. But I'll tell you,
You know who was smiling
Goran
the
Dragic,
biggest?
because that's like 18, 20 points off the bench.
And that guy had the biggest smile on his face, man. Couldn't be more happier for the rest of the guys.
Who, Goran?
Draj.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. Sack of injuries.
I love the way
Sack of injuries and breaking down, but he's a good dude.
I love the way our team, the chemistry, the way they
It's a
interact.
team.
Dude, I love it. I
Team.
love it, man.
Team. They will
It's-
pass up. They will pass for the best shot.
Yes.
They're not taking the worst shot. They're going to take the best shot. And if they see a teammate has a better shot, there was a play yesterday where Jimmy could have gone into the paint and shot a ball that would have been challenged. Instead, he passes it out to Bam, who then passes it, I think, to Duncan for a 3, because it ends up in the hands of somebody who had a better shot. Because he passes it to Bam, who's kind of open in the elbow, but he's like, nah, I'll pass it to Duncan, who's wide open in the 3, and then the defender was coming, but it was way too late by the time Duncan released it, and it was a 3. I think that's how the play went, if I'm correct. And so Jimmy, driving into the paint, a challenge shot, he sent it to a guy that he thought had a better shot, and that guy then put it to another guy that had a wide open shot that was a little farther, but it's a better shot because it's a better shooter. I was playing softball a couple years back, and was playing center field, and the guy that was playing right, he had a better arm than I did, and there was a liner that was coming our way, and he backed me up. He was like literally 3 feet behind me, and as the ball was coming, I go, I'm letting it go, get it. And he got it, and he threw it, and he got the guy out. And he goes to me, why'd you do it? And I go, you got a better arm than I do, dude. I could have made the throw, but I probably don't get the guy out. That guy took off and thought he would get there in time. I knew you would get him. And he goes, cool. And that's what you're supposed to do as a team. If somebody has a better shot at that moment, that guy I knew had a better arm than I did. So I want to get the out. I don't care who gets the freaking out, dude. Just want to get the out. And he was literally behind me. I go, I'm going to let it go. You go. You get it. I wasn't explaining anything at that moment, but he was ready. And he, boom, and we got the out. That's it. You know, and that's what I saw yesterday. When Jimmy passed up that shot, he goes, why am I going to take a challenge shot that I might miss? Let me give it to, I think it was Bam. And then Bam passed it over to Duncan. And Duncan was the farthest guy. But come on, Duncan, Bam, or Jimmy? Who's the better shooter? Duncan. Duncan will hit something like I was talking about with Davis Bertans from Washington. That guy's on a roll, dude. I mean, he's hitting everything from everywhere. Anyway, Duncan's that guy too right now. He's hitting it everywhere, man. It's impressive. It really is. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 for the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Call Bobby Nunez, of course. They know how to get it done at Nunez Law for the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Of course, you can reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. That's like a 24-hour talk show. You can also follow us on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. Many different ways to follow us here on the program. Did I tell you that, of course, Pallet Rack City is a proud sponsor of our program, Eddie Pereira and the great people at Pallet Rack City. I'm telling you, it's your one-stop shop for all your warehouse needs. For you business owners that are listening to me right now, they buy and sell new and used pallet racking. And I'm telling you, not only do they sell pallet racking, but everything else for your warehouse needs, including shelving, hand trucks, dock boards, fork extensions, packing supplies, floor scales, warehouse rolling ladders, everything else you can possibly need to maintain a top-notch warehouse, including used forklifts. Call my friend Eddie to hook you up with the best deals guaranteed. I'm telling you, if you're thinking about having a nice rack, then you got to call Pallet Rack City. 305-887-9212. That's 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right. We got to also talk about the Jets. And this is, I got to say, it just gets better and better with the Jets. And I got to have fun on behalf of the Jets and obviously Adam Gase. The hatred for the Jets is always fun, right? Picking on the Jets is always fun. It is so much better now that Adam Gase is a part of that clown show, right? And And I love the direction that the Dolphins are going in because they're going to pass up the Jets, and I know the Bills are having a nice season, all that good stuff, and they'll eventually pass them in a couple of years, and they'll be the top dog in this division coming up. It's happening. It's happening. I'm telling you, it's going to happen in a couple of years. But especially the Jets, for sure they'll be cellar dwellers here for a long time to come because the Johnsons are absolute clowns. And Adam Gase, with the whole Le'Veon Bell thing, and remember, he didn't want Le'Veon Bell, okay? And those two could talk about whatever they want, that they hammered things out in the beginning of the year and all that stuff. But there is no respect for Adam Gase in that locker room. And Saturday, Le'Veon Bell went bowling, okay, because he was too sick to practice, too sick to play, but he's not sick enough to go bowling, okay? Now, if you're ill and you got a cold, I don't think you really want to go bowling. Build up any kind of sweat, be in an air-conditioned place, all that other.
Oh, come on. All the pins banging and stuff like that, your head throbbing. That's great.
Right. So Gase was asked by my man, by the way, the reporter you're going to hear is Dan Leberfeld, Jets Whispers. And he asked Gase about the Le'Veon Bell bowling situation.
What's your take on the Le'Veon late-night bowling situation? I mean, did he violate any team rules?
No, because we didn't want him coming to the hotel, the locker room, he was still contagious.
Beyond rules, do you have any problem? I mean, if he was well enough to bowl, I mean,
yeah, I mean, that wasn't his fault that we said that he was still contagious. I mean, that's what the doctors told him. I'd rather him not be. I'd rather be him at home just getting better. But that'll be a conversation we have. I mean, we have a late start today, so I'll have a chance to talk with him.
So you won't discipline him or anything?
I'm not going to discipline him for it.
I was just asking.
I can't tell him you have to stay in your house.
You would agree it's kind of a bad optic?
Yeah, I would say so.
You would agree it's a bad optic? Yeah, I would say so. Look, I think we've talked about this many times. You could be an extremely intelligent person. Doesn't mean you have common sense. And Le'Veon Bell is a great football player. He's probably a really smart football player, too. Really understands what's going on and all of that. He's not really a smart human being. Okay? This is not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. It's just not. This guy is dumb. I mean, this is the guy that sleeps with two whores and then leaves the two whores in his house and they go ripping off his house. Right? I mean, that's who this guy is. There's another thing that I would love to say, but I've been sworn to not say it publicly, of another incredibly moronic thing he did in Pittsburgh, but I can't talk about it. But I have enough examples to know that this guy's not intelligent. Just isn't. And common sense would tell you, hey, man, I'm sick. I can't be there with my guys. I can't practice with the team. The last thing you want to do is go out in public and make it a farce. Dude, stay home. Go hire more whores to come to your house. You know what I mean? That's what you should do. Stop being a freaking idiot. Only an idiot would just laugh in the face of his coach, the owner, the franchise, the team, the fans, everybody. Because that's basically what you did. You know, that's like me. I don't know. Next week I gotta do a shift on Mad Dog, right? Let's say I've got like 6 shifts coming up on Mad Dog in the next couple of weeks, right? If I show up, if I call in to my boss and say, hey, you know, I'm feeling under the weather. I'm feeling under the weather. I can't do it. And then I take off and I go do.
No, he sees you at the Marlins day game.
Right.
The Marlins day game, sitting there in the stands.
Right. Or I'm at the Heat game, whatever, covering it that night, and I'm not on Mad Dog. It's like, well, wait a minute, dude. I thought you were sick. What are you doing? You know what I mean? You're Ferris Bueller, bro. You're at the Cubs game. What the hell is this? You're supposed to be sick at home, right? I mean, that's what the nurse came over because she likes to. Anyway, so this is why I'm saying that you're just slapping in the face of everybody. You're just crapping all over everybody because everybody else, the other 52 players, they worked all week, they practiced, they went to meetings, and they're playing the game. And plenty of guys play sick. Okay? Plenty of guys play sick. This is nothing new here.
Don't they get IVs and get fluids and
man,
all, then they
right.
get them ready to go?
Dude, if you got the energy
Here.
to go bowling,
Michael
then
Jordan.
you can play the game.
Michael Jordan,
Flu
game
game.
6, right?
Yes. Plenty of guys. He's not the first, bro. Come on. Tons of guys have played sick. I just did 4 hours last week. Sick as a dog.
With no voice.
Give me a break, dude. I was sick. I'm still sick. I'm still recovering from it. I'm not 100%. I didn't stop working because it's not sick enough to stop working. When I got to put stents in my heart, then you know I might miss the damn thing. They're not putting stents in my heart. I think I'm not going to miss anything. I mean, give me a break. And you know what? We run the show here. I easily could have taken it off. Could have said, you know what, dude, today I just don't, I'm not well enough. Which, really, I wasn't well enough to do 4 hours. I didn't do an hour. I did 4 hours, 4 real hours, not even radio hours. That 4 hours is really 2 hours because half hour are breaks and commercials and promos and weather and traffic and all that crap that you guys listen to. So I don't want to hear this. And so Le'Veon Bell, do you want to hear what extreme this moron took it to? Okay? I don't know if you've heard this soundbite, but listen to Le'Veon Bell now explain his outing.
Have you talked about him? Yeah, he was going to talk. Yeah, me and Coach Gates talked about it. Obviously, he said, you know, just a certain perspective is going to look a certain way. You know, so that's the only thing why I wish I wasn't seen doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't, you know, feel bad about what I did, and I didn't break any rules or, you know, I wasn't a distraction until now that y'all see me bowling. So the bigger surprise, I rolled a 251 off the floor. That's the bigger surprise. Was that career high game? That's my career high. 251? 251. What was your career high before that? 238. 238? Yeah, 251. No 7-10 splits? Nah, no, thank goodness. Nah.
I mean, think about that. Let's just go over all those statements. First of all, he said the perspective of how it looks. You couldn't figure that out yourself because you're too stupid. Right, Le'Veon? Because you obviously didn't think about it. Like, hey, man, if I go out in public, I'm Le'Veon Bell. I'm in New York City. They've got 4 billion cameras all over the place, plus the media and social media. Somebody's going to find out. You didn't imagine that because you didn't think about what it would look like. And then the follow-up is, wish I wasn't seen bowling. Not, you know, I really regret doing that because it was extremely unprofessional for me to do that. It's insensitive for me to do that because my teammates are busting their asses, studying and working and practicing to play this game. And meanwhile, I say I'm too sick to actually do the same, but I'm bowling. No. I wish I wasn't busted. It's like the guy that apologizes about committing a crime or doing whatever, and they're just apologizing because they got caught, not because they're apologizing that they committed the crime or made the mistake or did the action or whatever it is.
That reminds me of Chad Johnson. I'm sorry I left the receipt in the car where my wife would find the condom receipt.
Right, exactly.
You know, not that I got condoms and screwed a whore.
No.
That I left the receipt where she would find it.
I wish I wouldn't have been seen. I mean, it just, again, just the lack of IQ, bro. Like, you are really stupid. And then Here's the other part that you just don't care. You have no tact. You have no connection to what you're saying. You now brag about that you bowled a 251, better than your 238 with the flu. So then that means your ass can't play a game either? Maybe you can play the best game of your life under the flu. I mean, guys have played with broken bones, broken noses, all kinds of screwed up stuff. Jay Fiedler one time had to play, and he could not hand off with his right hand. So he would have to then take the snap and hand it with his left hand because his right hand was too injured. And it was the hand he would normally hand it off with, I think, or it was the left hand. I forgot how it was. But the hand was so injured that he couldn't use that one for the handoff because it might cause even more pain and maybe more discomfort and maybe even more of an injury. He would use, and it was like awkward for him to use the other hand because it wasn't natural. But the guy still played. Like plenty of players have played with all kinds
Ronnie
of
Lott,
pains.
chop off my finger. Chop it off. I don't need it. Who was the guy from Kansas City, the playoff game? DeBerg had the screw all the way through his finger. Remember that big, huge?
Yeah.
That was, oh, my God. Can you imagine a screw through your finger down into your hand? Taking the snap of the ball.
It's just,
oh, my God.
Just to watch him, the way he carries himself, this is why he's a great player. Now we think about this more and more and more and more. Mike Tomlin is, wow, he is amazing. Think about it. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. You had to deal with, and you got, and listen, Ben Roethlisberger is no vacation. No walk in the park. Okay? That guy's a dirtbag as it is. But the other two guys, wow. And then look, the injuries, and his team is in the playoff race. I mean, I've said that Mike had lost a little bit there and that culture was disappearing. Maybe it's because the front office made terrible decisions with certain players and he was saddled with them because they were clearly bringing the team down. But think about the knucklehead that Antonio Brown is and Le'Veon Bell, and you have to deal with that. That's why you had to get rid of them. Best thing you did. Sometimes, yeah, they're really talented, but sometimes it's more than talent, man. You got to have some character. You got to have some professionalism. And look at that. To try to overcome all of that, it's a mission. Now you don't have those guys on there. All right, Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. We are going to talk a little Inter Miami with her Inter Miami football report. That's next.
Title, it includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Michelle Kaufman is working on some breaking news right now, so she's going to join us after the breaking news.
They're announcing a coach. She could go on vacation. Yay. The crowd goes crazy.
All right, maybe there's a player that is going to join. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll get Michelle fresh off the breaking news, and she will then, of course, share some of that with us. Why not? It's a beautiful thing. How about that? Love it. Way to go, Michelle. We will see Michelle Betty soon around 2:15. Michelle Kaufman will be joining us. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. How about this? Did you guys hear Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones had another classic line, and obviously the whole coaching thing with Jason Garrett has been an absolute mess for the Dallas Cowboys, and the question is, are they going to keep the puppet around? So now there's a report that the Cowboys met with Urban Meyer. Jerry Jones asked about, did you guys meet with Urban Meyer?
That's not correct. I can confirm that it is absolutely not correct. We have not met with any coach, not met with any. Specifically, why in answering that question, I don't want to imply that we would.
I wouldn't want to imply that we wouldn't. I mean, we would meet with the coach while we have one in place. Yes, we'll do that classless piece of crap thing that the Dolphins did when they met with Jim Harbaugh while Sperano was in place. Yes, we would do something like that. Very unprofessional. Yes, we would do something like that. I want you to know that, no, we have not met with Urban Meyer. But if he wants to meet, I want him to know that we would meet with him if he wants. Urban Meyer is not going to the pros. There's no way. Urban Meyer, the control freak he is, there's no way he goes to the pros. And I don't think pro players would respond to him the same way, too. That would be, he's very Saban-ish in that sense. I don't think he's made for the pros. He'll go to USC if they get rid of Helton, which they're not. But he'll take another high-profile college job, but I don't think he's going to go to the pros. But still, for Jerry to throw that out there, okay, and the back end of the comment to say, oh, wait a minute, go ahead, put that up again. Here we go.
I don't want to imply that we would.
I don't want to imply that we wouldn't. I want Jason to know that, hey, Jay, you're hanging on, buddy, by a thin line. You'll be coaching next year because they say that somebody else will hire you. And we will talk to somebody else if we can find somebody else right now. Only in Dallas, bro. Stuff like that happens. Only in Dallas. And that guy, And here's the other thing. Isn't that a great example for whoever wants to be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys? This is what you're going to work with. A guy that will trash you publicly, a guy that's going to talk about you right there in the public, a guy that is openly going to say, yeah, no, we'd interview other coaches while you're employed. That sets it up for a great environment to hire a really good coach. If you're a Cowboys fan, understand this. You will never have a great coach there anymore until that guy is dead. That's it. He has to pass away because he's such a control freak that there is no way a respectable coach is going to take a job with a guy like that above him. Can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. Let's see. Awesome, bro. Now you got to whip out the Maiden Twisted Sister Sportatorium shirt or the Def Leppard Crocus show from the Sportatorium. Damn, dude. You want like some stuff. What's wrong with you, bro? You want me to whip out Def Leppard Crocus? What kind of crap is that, bro?
Do you know that I bought the British flag shirt? I brought the British flag shorts and,
right,
of course, the classic white with the black sleeve jersey.
You still have them?
Somewhere, hopefully, yeah. In that, the T-shirts that are worn.
Keep it going.
Done.
Right.
Out. Holding up. Maybe got some moss to them, you know what I mean, type thing. And when you open them and you pull them, you got to be real careful because the threading, like at any given moment, the whole shirt could come apart type of a situation. But, yeah, that I can remember wearing that actually, the British flag shorts. What a mistake. Wore them to Six Flags. Atlantis, remember the 8-story slide? Bro, I went down the slide in just those Def Leppard shorts.
Yeah.
Not a good idea, bro.
Well, look, let me tell you something. You guys out there, I don't know, it's just sometimes you people are just unrealistic. I mean, you want me to whip out a Def Leppard shirt from the early 80s. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to whip out a Def Leppard shirt from 1980s from the Hollywood Sportatorium? You tell me how I'm supposed to do that. Where am I supposed to find that Def Leppard shirt from the early 80s? Where? What is wrong with you? You're asking me to do something that's impossible. And then you're asking me to whip out a Crocus shirt. What the hell is wrong with you? How am I going to whip out a shirt from the 80s from the Hollywood Sportatorium? There's no way I can do that. None. There's no way I can do stuff like that. I don't own that. I was never at that concert.
That Pyromania tour,
you know
man.
that dude is blown away right now, right? You know that dude is blown away right now.
I got to say that because of them playing so much High and Dry.
Yes.
What an incredible concert.
Yeah. Well, they played practically the whole album, almost. Well, back then, they only had 3 albums. So, yeah.
And On Through the Night was what? A song or two that they pulled out, and that was it. High and Dry and Pyromania and Bada Bing.
There you go. How about that? There you go. Whipped out Def Leppard and Crocus within seconds. Heat Nation, can't wait to see them. We'll bury LeBum and the Lakers Friday night. I love it. I love it. Just like we buried Trae Young and his punk ass. Trae Young. Dude, when you say it's over, wait till there's like 0 seconds left, Trae. 0. My man did it with 58 seconds left. Did you watch San Antonio? See, here's the thing, Trae Young. You play for an organization that has accomplished squat. Squat. Nothing. The Atlanta Hawks are a joke. They are the ass end of the NBA and have been the ass end of the NBA with the Sacramento Kings and all these other clown-ass organizations for years. So, Trae, you're not entitled to say anything's over, dude. Okay? I get it. You're a terrific player. You play with great moxie. All of that. but your organization and you are garbage. Understand that. So when the Hawks start going to playoffs, when the Hawks start winning playoff series, when the Hawks maybe get to an Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe even when they win a title or something, then you can carry yourself that way. Right now, Trey, Hawks, stay humble. You're nothing in this NBA. You are nowhere near the Heat organization. See, the Heat organization even gets scrub players to go 31-10 because it's a great organization that has culture, that has a tradition, that is one of the best in the NBA. So when you step on the court in San Antonio, in Miami, okay, certain places in this league, you need to respect, my brother. You need to understand that when you walk into Golden State, there's something that's in place there. And they've accomplished a lot more than you have or maybe ever will in a Hawks uniform. So respect, my man. You walk into the Garden and you walk into the Celtics, respect. It's an organization that's got a boatload of banners out there. Your organization has got nothing. We got to go back to Cliff Livingston, which you have no idea who the hell I'm talking about. All right? So when Doc Rivers was a player for your organization, that's when they were decent, and they were still a bunch of chokers. Okay? Because that team will always be known as chokers. Them and the Portland Jailblazers. Okay? Those two teams are some of the biggest choking teams I have ever seen in my life. The Hawks have nothing as an organization, nothing as tradition, nothing established. Trae Young, shut the hell up, dude. Okay? Shut the hell up. When you and your team actually establish something, then maybe you can talk. Till then, shut up, dude, because you look like an idiot yesterday. It's over. There's 58 seconds left, my man. Do you know how long 58 seconds is in the NBA?
An eternity.
Yeah, I don't. You're too young, but I saw Reggie Miller change the world in 8. 8. All right? So, again, I mean, Trey, my man, grow the hell up, kid.
We need to change gears.
Yes, I know.
It's that time, sir.
One guy says, Heat Nation pumped about the incredible team that continues to get it done. Heat culture. Hashtag Heat culture. I am with you there, bro. I am with you. And no, I don't fit in the Crocus shirt anymore.
It was easy for us to, surmise that there, buddy. The Def Leppard either, by the way.
No. It's an old shirt.
Unless you want those things to, split and rip. Don't do it.
1983 was that tour. A long time ago. And yes, I still have the shirts. How about that? Huh? A little faded. But what can I say? It's a beautiful thing. That's why I do want to go see Crocus, man. One more time. I love Eat the Rich. What a great song that is. Okay. Michelle Kaufman's been working on some breaking news. We're going to talk a little Inter with her next.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight. midnight.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are going to get in contact with Michelle Kaufman in just a couple of minutes here. She needs a couple of more minutes. She is working on a story, so we will, that's the beauty. We can extend it. We can do whatever we want here because we run the show, baby. Owen Bill, just want to say thanks for the great content. Y'all the best. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love on the
Thank you.
accidentlawfirm.com text line. Hey, I hear you talking about it, Jeff George and his arm talent. So who's your personal all-time top 5 arm talents that you've seen? Elway, Marino, Jeff George, Warren
Can't forget
Moon.
about Vinny, bro.
Warren Moon.
Vinny had a gun.
He had a gun. And Favre. There you go. I'll go with those 5. Let's see. What else do we have here?
Wait a minute, man. How about the kid Jamarcus Russell throwing the ball 70 yards on his knees?
Yeah, I know.
You
but
told me the story at Senior Bowl.
Yeah. No, that wasn't Jamarcus Russell. That's Bowler. Kyle Bowler did it on his knees at the Senior Bowl. Jamarcus Russell and Kyle Bowler both had great arms, but I saw more quarterbacking from the other guys, so I'm just going to give them, you know what I mean? So I'm going to give them a little bit more love. But you're right, they had great arms, but I'm going to go with those guys a little. I mean, listen, splitting hairs. There's probably a couple guys I forgot that I could probably put in that. Barkowski had a gun. Oh, my Lord, Steve Barkowski had a gun. Forgot about him. Let's see, what else do we have here? Have you seen Bones UK perform? Go to YouTube and search I'm Afraid of Americans Bowie cover. They may be the best new performers around. Of course, fans would take Young. They wanted Clowney. Oh, okay. Yeah, on Chase Young. I have not seen Bones UK. I got to check them out. But thank you very much. I appreciate the heads up on that. All right, we will look up Bones UK here on the program. We're going to talk to Michelle Kaufman, also from the Miami Herald. One guy says, Bill says, yes, thank you. Those shirts are worth tons now. I know I deal in vintage gear in my biz. That was me that asked for the shirts. Yeah, but they're worth tons, even they're used. Wouldn't old shirts have to be like kept in like pristine shape? I don't know about this, Bill. I have no idea. Are you telling me that shirt's worth money? I mean, it's worth to me because it's personal for me, but it's used. I don't know. I don't know why it would be worth that much money. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you know more about this. I have no idea. I would not expect it to be worth anything. 3 songs from the On Through the Night EP were High and Dry, Pete Willis. What a guitarist. That was the best Def Leppard. Yes. And you know Pete Willis was part of Fastway. Yeah. So he was in that band also.
Say what you will.
That's right. Here you go. So he was with it was Pete Way and God, I'm forgetting the other guy now. Was from another band. Either way. But yes, Pete Willis was a hell of a guitarist. I think he had I think he had some substance issues. I think that's why they had to kick him out of the band or something like that. I think it was a real problem for him or something. And then they got rid of him. But hey, they They were fine without him.
No, wasn't it alcohol? It was alcohol. He was a
No, I already said that. I said he had substance issues.
No, specifically, I remember
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah.
The guy just could not stop, man.
Right.
And he drank himself to death.
But they headed in the right direction anyway. They got the right guys. Go ahead. You can call Michelle now. We're going to get Michelle Kaufman on now. Billy P says Bell should start listening to Kiss Kiss. Bowling for the Cure. Well, I'm not sure what that means. What do you mean by that? What did I do that was bowling for the cure?
Maybe that's what he was doing, like a
Le'Veon.
marathon.
Le'Veon is fine. Le'Veon was bowling for the cure. Okay, nice, Dougie Fresh. I like that. Big O, big Kiss fan here. Love the shirt. Oh, thank you. Yes, I got this one in the last concert. Okay, and I'm gonna. Now we're going to bring on Michelle Kaufman because we've got our Inter-Miami report. We're going to switch gears. Every week we like to talk a little football here on the show, and we have our Inter-Miami segment with Inter-Miami starting. I'm not going to wait till the season starts. That's lame, dude. We're going to have an Inter-Miami segment all the way through, man. We want to talk Inter-Miami every week. Michelle Kaufman does an excellent job covering Inter-Miami. In fact, she just wrote an article yesterday about the 18 players that were signed, and now she has a new article about some new news coming Inter-way. You can follow her on Twitter.
We had a bad connection. Give us a second.
You can follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports, KAUF Sports. And, of course, you can catch her work at the Miami Herald website. So we're going to have a little fun with Michelle and talk a little Inter, as I am super pumped about the Inter-Miami season coming up in 2020. And I think it's just going to be an absolute blast. We need it. Obviously, we need to kind of juice up our summers. You know what I'm saying? One guy says, peeps don't care about the used. It adds to the value. Really? Okay. Well, thanks, Bill. I didn't know that. Oh, because it's legit? Is that why it adds to the value? I don't know. I don't know. We'll get more into that. Bill, when I see you in Vegas, we'll get more into that.
We have the one and only Michelle
The one
Kaufman,
and only.
sir.
Yes, we love having Michelle on. Every week we talk a little Inter-Miami football. And, of course, you can follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. Michelle, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's been a busy day. There's soccer news brewing. I just literally 1 minute ago posted. I just sent it to you. In addition to Inter-Miami news, Miami FC is moving to the USL Championship Division, which is the second division in the United States. They are moving back to FIU Ricardo Silva Stadium for the 2020 season, starting in March.
Okay,
starting in March.
Wait
yes.
a minute. Hold on a second. Does Ricardo Silva still own the team? Because this has got this goes against every grain in his body that he's going to go to a league that has limitations. He doesn't want that, man.
I know.
So what happened here?
I know. Well, I don't know. I mean, apparently USL is still contemplating, the way that they're going to operate in the future and this and that. Maybe there's more room for openness. But in the meantime, the team was really invisible. I mean, they had gone from being very relevant to being very irrelevant when they left the NASL and left FIU Stadium. And, they played in NPSL and then the NISA. Like, no one knows what these things are. I mean, I have to admit, our coverage dropped in the Miami Herald because they moved out of a legitimate stadium. They were playing in small venues and, against competition that was not really competition for their level.
It was club competition is what it was.
It was basically club competition. And so now they're moving up. They're moving to USL Championship. They took over the Ottawa Fury. The Ottawa Fury disbanded, and basically they acquired the franchise rights to Ottawa Fury. So they are going to be operating in Miami out of FIU Ricardo Silva Stadium. Paul Douglas is the GM and Nelson Vargas is the coach, and they're going to definitely move up in profile. And so now, starting in March 2020, You're going to have
two.
Inter Miami playing in Fort Lauderdale in MLS. Then the second division team is going to be Miami FC at FIU Ricardo Stadium, and then Ricardo Silva Stadium, and then Inter Miami is also going to have a USL League One team, which is the third division team, playing up there at Lockhart. So you're going to have a Division One team, a Division Two team, and a Division Three team, all starting here in March.
Wow, look at that. We've grown up, huh? How about that?
We're going from like no teams to 3 teams.
I love it, man. That's fantastic. You know me, you and I are going to love this because this is fantastic. Yeah. And for those of us that love the sport. It's really good news. Yeah, because this is a great way of watching some of these young players come up, and eventually maybe some of them will crack the MLS squad. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and they may jump from one to the other, and there's probably going to be, some games between maybe the 2 USL teams. Maybe they would play each other in some kind of derby, whatever. So
the Florida
there's
Cup.
A lot of possibilities. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. And, it really was a shame what happened that Miami FC had really built up, they even had 10,000 fans for a couple of games, and they were averaging about 5,500, with very little money promotion. Well, they had money, but, they kind of disappeared after 2 years of success. My husband used to go to all the games to the beer garden there, and he had his T-shirt, and Sophie's soccer teammates used to go and everything. And it was kind of a fun thing at FIU Stadium.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, it just disappeared.
I know. I know. I had a blast, and my job disappeared too when that disappeared. By the way, just want you to know.
Well, so now they're back. They're going to be starting March 2020 at FIU Stadium. I think 17 games or whatever will be over there at FIU Stadium, and they're going to be playing in the top division of USL, which is the second division overall, behind MLS. So it's going to be a high level of competition at FIU, and so you're going to have a pretty high level pro team in Miami and a high level pro team in Fort Lauderdale, and there's going to be a lot of soccer news going on. As far as Inter Miami goes, my story this morning that I posted was that there's reports out of Russia that Inter Miami offered $30 million to get 2 Argentine players from Zenit St. Petersburg, which is Matthias Kranovitter and Sebastian Driussi. And those 2 guys, by the way, both played on River Plate for Marcelo Gallardo.
Ooh.
So I don't know. Yes, things that make you go, like Arsenio Hall used to say. I don't know if anyone even listening remembers Arsenio Hall. That shows how old I am. But anyway, I know you know. Okay, you know and I know who Arsenio Hall is. Anyway, so Matthias and Sebastian are 2 players who are, young, very good Argentine players. Sebastian is 23. He's a forward. Matthias is a holding midfielder who's 26. He played on River Plate from 2011 to 15. Then he went to Atletico Madrid. He played in La Liga. Was loaned to Sevilla, and then he went to Russia in 2017. There are 4 Argentines on that team because the coach is from Argentina. But anyway, if you're from Argentina, would you rather play in Miami or would you rather play in Russia? Okay, we all know the answer to that question. So the word is from the Russian version of ESPN, which is called Match TV. That's kind of like the Russian ESPN. They had a report that Inter Miami, that Paul McDonough had spoken to the agent of both of those players. They're both represented by the same agent, and that the club was offered $30 million to get those 2 players. Both of those players are former River Plate players. So I don't know if you connect the dots. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but if something were to happen, that would be a reunion of Marcelo Gallardo with 2 of his former players.
How good are these players?
They're good. Matthias,
they got to be 30 million good, right? I mean, they got to be 30 million good. Yeah.
Yeah, the Matthias has played 9 or 10 matches for the Argentine senior national team. So that's pretty darn good. And played at Atletico Madrid, and so he's a high level player, although he's been on the bench this season. So he's very unhappy apparently. From what I read, I went and did a little research. Not that I'm an expert on these people because I'm just reading about them today, but he's unhappy with his situation there. He's been relegated to the bench, and so he's probably looking for a new home. And then Sebastian is 23, so he's younger, but he played River Plate for 4 years, and he was on the Argentine under 20 and under 23 teams. So both of them are national level players in Argentina who are very talented and promising guys. So I don't know. This story said that Inter Miami was in talks with those two players, which I found interesting.
That is very interesting. And yesterday you wrote an article going over Inter's 18 players now, right? Is that what they're up to now with the roster?
I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize, because it's been done piecemeal, a player here, a player there, 5 in the expansion draft, 2 over here, 2 over there. They actually have 18 players on the roster. Now, none of those 18 are like the big giant name that everybody was all excited to hear, but there are some very good players on there, specifically from MLS, and also the young players from Argentina and Venezuela. There's 2, young guys from Argentina. One of them is a DP, a young DP, and then another guy from Argentina, and then a player from Venezuela, and then the MLS guys, several of whom have a lot of experience and were key players on their teams. So the roster is up to 18, and they're going to add 2 DPs, which is going to bring it up to 20. And then they have the college draft, so they may get, pick up a couple there, bring it up to 22 or whatever. And then the rest they can pick up from overseas or from here, players that are not DP level, but, enough to fill up the rest of the roster. So things are definitely coming together behind the scenes, although here we are another Wednesday with no head coach named. So I keep telling you that by the next Wednesday we're going to have something to talk about, and here we are again. But we'll see what happens. I think it's interesting, this thing about the 2 Argentine players, because from what I read, they were tight with the coach. They had very good relationship with that coach. They both have a history with River, and this River coach is also, linked to the job here. So maybe all of those things are connected.
How old are they?
Sebastian is 23 and Matias is 26.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah, good ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their prime.
Wow.
Yeah, in their prime.
So if these guys can play, this is something they can build on. This is not like a stopgap 32-year-old that's going to play for you for 2 years to, and then head off into the sunset and enjoy retirement. This is actually guys that, I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know if they kind of have reached their peak, but they're good enough that they dominate here, or is it players that are getting better and better and could become so they could improve so much that you use them here and then sell them again, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, but I do know that this is the formula that Paul McDonough likes, which is he's very good at blocking out all of the noise of, what fans and the media say and want. And he has a long history of being a scout and being a coach and being a GM. And so he sees things in a different way from fans and media. And I think he wants to do a lot of what he did in Atlanta, which is find young, South American, especially for Miami, young South American players that are players who are valued in Europe, who are, either playing in Europe or are being highly scouted, by teams in Europe. So they're players with great quality, but they don't cost $100 million. They're young players who are still on the way up. And then eventually, if they become really good, they can sell them to those teams in Europe and make a ton of money that they can invest in other players in the future. So I think I know, he has said it many times that's kind of his formula. That's the way he thinks you should build an MLS team. And of course, it's Miami, and so Miami needs a little bit of glitz and glamour, and they will. I think they will have, 2 players or 1 player at least that people have heard of, and maybe these 2 guys, and, I don't know. But we're going to find out soon because they're starting training camp in 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. That's what I was going to tell you. That hey, the training camp is in early January, right, or mid January, right? So
mid.
So I would imagine that by the end of this month, it has to be in place already.
It has to. They have to have the coach, they have to have the DPs, and then the only thing left is the college draft is the first week of January. So, that is still left to go. And the European transfer window opens January 1st. So that's really the official transfer window when trades are made and players are acquired from Europe. Starts in January 1st and goes to like January 30th or January 20th or something. It's like 3 or 4 weeks in January. So it is possible, honestly, hate to say it, but it is possible that all of these transactions will be announced the first week of January when the transfer window is open and all those transactions are happening. So I don't know, but it's coming soon. It's happening behind the scenes. I'm sure there's all kinds of talks that we know nothing about. And, all we can do is try to get the information that we can get and put it out there, and we'll see what happens.
Michelle, I know that Ricardo Silva and Beckham and Moss and the group, they've been very cordial with each other. They've been very respectful and very supportive of each other. But I got to ask, since it's 3 different levels, will there be any synergy with the players? Like if Inter has a player that may be a little too young, too green, even for the second division, will they loan him to the first division and so on and so forth? Is there any chance there's going to be any synergy that way, or is it just the fact that we will have that third level and it's a separate situation from the Inter group? How does that break down?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting. USL definitely has synergy with MLS. I mean,
right. That's why I asked.
USL and MLS cooperate a lot, and there's a lot of going up and down and stuff between USL and MLS. In this case, you've got 2 ownership groups. You've got, Ricardo Silva has been no fan of MLS and has been no fan of U.S. soccer in general. So he's kind of a renegade. He's kind of a renegade out there trying to do things the way that he thinks they should be done, and he feels very, very strongly about it, and and has not been, shy about sharing his views with the United States soccer community. So I don't know how MLS is going to embrace him. I think it's going to be very interesting if he remains the owner. I don't know what the relationship will be, because it has not been, it's been cordial, but he's been very critical of U.S. soccer and of MLS and of the closed system, and that there's no relegation and promotion and this and that.
But I know he has a good relationship with these guys, at least. I know that
he does.
He does that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying maybe there's a chance. Like, example, the Super Draft's coming. They have the first and third picks. Maybe the kid that's number 3 overall is so green that they want to put him in the first division instead of the second division. An example, you know what I'm saying? Just throwing that out there. For me, it's going to be cool as a fan, and because you and I are fans that way. We're going to go see the USL team just to go see the draft picks, and so will the all the other fan clubs that we've got here in town that love soccer. We're going to appreciate that, but that's why I'm asking that if they have a kid that they think needs to go to even a lower level, would they do that? You know what I mean? So that's why I asked that, because I find it very interesting. And I love the fact that we're going to have all 3 levels that we have in this country. We're going to have in our backyard. And as a soccer fan, I feel I'm blessed to be able to do that. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. But I do remember that they're going to be competing for the soccer fan dollar.
Yes.
I mean, they're playing in the same.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
playing in the same market during the same season. So it's different from, an MLS team in Kansas City shares a player with a USL team in, wherever. I mean,
Houston
here we're
Dynamo,
talking about,
whatever.
we're here talking about 2 teams in the same market, 3 teams in the same market competing for a soccer fan's dollar on the weekend. Are they going to go to FIU's Ricardo Silva Stadium, or are they going to go, they can't be 2 places at once. Are they going to go to FIU Stadium? Are they going to go to the new Fort Lauderdale MLS Stadium? They are going to be competing for soccer fans' money and time. And so I don't know how much collaboration there would be, and especially because the MLS team is going to have a USL second division team, but, they're going to have it up there at their stadium, and they're going to try to pump that place up. And, so
Like
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Now, remember, the budgets also determine. If you're a family that you don't have a high budget, Then
Right.
maybe one of the USL teams is better for you. You'll have a great time. You'll see soccer at a pretty high level, but the MLS is probably going to cost you a little bit more. So
Right.
I think MLS will probably price out certain families that will say, hey, you know what, we love soccer. And the other thing I think is it's already part of our society as America that we're used to the single A, double A, triple A, and then baseball in the major league
Right.
level. The rest of the world does this too, the first, second divisions, and third divisions, and the top level. So now that's the other thing. We have over the last 20 years, we've had so many more Central and South Americans come here that they will understand the system that's being in place, and they will understand that, hey, you know what, once in a while I'm going to go to a USL game or I'll go to an MLS game because I love soccer and I'm going to support the different levels. And I think
Right.
that that's what they're banking on, that we're going to grow to love the different levels of soccer and support it in its own way, how it stands on its own, in other words.
Right. And also, I think, Miami FC, in a smart move, is capitalizing on the fact that our MLS team is not in Miami.
That's
Our
right.
MLS team is in North Fort Lauderdale because, their position is going to be, hey, we're the team that's in the 305. So if you live in West Kendall, or you live in Homestead, or you live in,
Coral
in
Gables?
Perrine or whatever, you don't want to schlep all the way up to Commercial Boulevard. Just come to FIU Stadium. We're going to have a nice team for you there, USL Championship level, and you don't have to go all the way to Fort Lauderdale. I mean, if the MLS team was here by the airport and getting going running in Dade County, it may be more difficult for the Miami FC team to draw. But because there's basically an hour between one stadium and the other, I think maybe they could each develop their own fan bases for now.
Yeah, and by the way, if all this works out with the two Argentine players and the coach that you think and all targeted, then this has been developing for a while because Paul McDonough is not also going to do every move without knowing the coach or without getting
Right.
some kind of feedback from, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? So there
Oh,
has
no, I'm sure they're listen,
Yeah.
Jorge Mas said 2 weeks ago at Soccer X, at that Soccer X conference that I covered, he said 2 weeks ago, we already have our coach chosen. We have selected our coach. He said those words. We have selected our coach. We're working on the final negotiations of his contract, blah, blah, blah. If that really is the case, unless things fell apart, which, can happen, but if that really is the case and they have been negotiating with somebody, that somebody, I'm sure, has been on the telephone with them. We have such things as email, texting, telephones. They can have input on a team even if there hasn't been a press conference with an announcement that a coach has been hired. A coach could certainly have influence on the players that a team is looking at before he is officially hired. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's happened too.
There you go. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. And, of course, you can catch her exceptional work, as always, at the Miami Herald website. What's next here for Inter that you're working on?
The next thing is the announcement of the schedule, which is coming very soon. So MLS is going to be releasing their schedule, sometime in the next 10 days. So once that happens, that's going to be the next big story, I think, unless they name a coach before that. I think coach and schedule are going to be the next two things, and then the DPs will come, right around after that.
Okay, I like it. And
Yep,
I can't
yep.
wait. I can't wait to go to a Inter Miami versus Portland Timbers game in Portland. Eventually, I will do that. I got to do
know
that.
that their opening game is going to be at LAFC, which is a hell of an opening game.
I know.
I don't think we had discussed that last Wednesday. I think that came after Wednesday. But their first game of their entire club history is going to be at LAFC.
That's awesome. Are they going to? By the way, are they going to? Are they going full board in Miami Herald, or are you traveling? With
I'm going. Oh, I'm going. I'm traveling. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're making that kind of commitment to the coverage. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm traveling. Yeah, I'm going to be traveling for sure to the opening game. And after that, I mean, they've set aside a budget for me to travel to as many games as they can afford. So we are looking forward to seeing the MLS schedule because based on where they're going and all that, then we're going to determine which games I will be able to travel to. But yes, my editor, Alex Mena, has assured me that this is going to be treated like every other pro beat at the Miami Herald, and we travel to cover the Dolphins, and we travel to cover the Heat, and we travel to cover the Marlins, and we will travel to cover Inter Miami as well.
Oh my Lord! If you guys are paying to travel for the Marlins, yeah, you got to travel for. This is going to have your page views for this is. I would imagine you're already getting good traffic, right, compared to Marlins.
Yes, yeah. I'm getting good traffic. Now,
Yeah.
everything with Inter Miami gets very good traffic. Because
Of
they get
course.
traffic from around the world. The people in Europe are very interested in everything with this team, and in England they're obsessed with David Beckham, and in Asia they're obsessed with this. So anything that has the word David Beckham and Inter Miami, people around the world, not just in MLS, are paying attention.
I'm sure the Herald sees that, and that's why this is. I think it's going to be the third most important beat in South Florida. Well, actually fourth, because I got to throw Canes in there.
Canes
Dolphins,
football.
Canes, and Heat are probably, and then Inter, I think, is going to move in to number 4 when it's all said and done. I really think it's going to be a monster. It's going to explode this time around. We have all the right people in place. We have the ownership.
I agree.
We have
Yeah.
everything in place, the stadiums, all that. They have the money to also turn it over now because they're creating their own stadium, so they're going to have their own cash flow and all of that. They're not. I'm telling you, we have everything in place to succeed. And this time around, you're going to see great crowds every week at those games. The question will be, is what you brought up, is how do we get to the point of supporting the USL teams? Those
Right.
are the ones that I'm a little concerned about because once we have the big daddy in town, we're kind of a big ticket town. We love stars, we love names, and the USL teams aren't going to have that. The MLS will. It'll take the real educated fans or the budgeted fans are the ones that
Right.
are going to be at those USL games. Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be.
So, but it's fun. Lots of stuff coming up. I mean, 2020 is going to be a very, very, very big year.
Yeah.
For soccer in Miami. So get ready.
I can't wait. Can't get enough of it. Michelle, as always, you're the best. Thank you for
All right.
a fantastic segment once again, and thank you for the breaking news.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. There you go. Follow
All
her
right.
on
Bye-bye.
Twitter. Thank you. Koff Sports. Catch her work at the Miami Herald website. You got the story there of the 2 Argentine players that could be joining. And I love the fact that one's 23 and one's 26. Holy moly. That's awesome. That means their 3 international players are all young if they do that. Because the other kid is a baby. It's like I think he's like 19 or something like that. And the other 2 would be 23 and 26. Forget it, man. That's awesome. I just don't know enough about those guys. I got to look it up now. Go YouTube it, see any highlights, do that kind of stuff. Wow. That's fantastic, man. And we are approaching another 4 hours, bro. Another smooth, no problem 4 hours.
We are there.
Plenty of guests, plenty of storylines, all kinds of stuff to talk about. We thank, of course, Andy Behrens and Michelle Kaufman for joining us here on the program. And, yeah, you know what? In the 4 hours, you only had 2 guests.
Yeah, because one no-show.
Right, no show. So
it'll happen. It happens.
Yeah, it's live radio,
It's
man.
life. Well, it's life.
That's right. We don't do recorded podcasts like everybody else does. We do the broadcast podcast.
Should we thank Mr. Flores for showing up?
Yes. Yeah, he always shows up. He's money. See, we can count on Brian Flores. All right, tomorrow I'm excited because I always, you know me, I love doggies. I love animals, and we're going to be at the Doral Animal Services tomorrow. Opportunity for you to come on by and say hi. We'll be out there from 11 to 3, and you can adopt a doggy, adopt a cat. So please come on out and join us. It's right there, right off of the Palmetto and 36th Street. It's literally a couple of blocks south on 79th, right there. So you get off the Palmetto. You go north on 36th Street for a couple blocks. The first light there that you make a left is
Excuse
79.
me, that would be going south, sir.
Oh, south. That's right.
Make a left.
No, but you
36th Street, you
but
go
you go
left.
No, you go west on 36th Street, don't you?
Well, you go west
and then
on
and then
36th, the
south.
first light, make a left, and go south.
Right.
Yes.
Then you go south
So
on
it's
79th.
west, south.
West and south, right off of the Palmetto, and we're right there.
You can't miss it. It's
ginormous.
Huge, gorgeous building.
It's a brand new,
Yep.
gorgeous building, man. Wow, it is awesome, and they do a great job there with their vets. Also, I took Maiden there last week to get her shots. So
the facilities are first class.
yeah, man, seriously. So great place to also take your doggies and your cats so they can take care of them there too. So you can adopt, you can shelter, you can also get services too provided by a veterinarian, all kinds of stuff. But we'll be out there, so come on by and say hi. Would love to see you. So if you're in that Doral area tomorrow between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., hell, we'll be there earlier than that, and we'll be there a little later than that. But, I mean, the broadcast times will be 11 to 3. We'll be out there having some fun, so appreciate it if you come on by and hang out with us. Thanks to John Cassio, as always, producing. Bill, the executive producer of this program, getting it done, putting it all together.
Thank you, O.
We thank Andy Behrens. We thank Michelle Kaufman. Especially, we thank all of you out there for tuning in and for downloading. We thank our great sponsors, as always. Without them, we could not survive. And remember, if you want to reach out to us anytime you're listening to the podcast on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Be good out there.
Thanks for the support, guys.